Oh, look at that graphic. Wow. Okay, that graphic size, that made up for the technical issues that we were dealing with. All right. Did that come with a little sound? I didn't hear any sound. Did it have a little sound effect? No sound yet?
I'm still working on that.
Okay, that looked good.
No
what's
worries.
happening, everybody? Welcome to Tour Life. Today actually is not March 7th, like you may have thought by the graphic that we posted. Today is May 7th. We'll let that slide as well, Silas. Big show tonight. Big show tonight. We have Calvin and Zach Melton with us. Yuli is out of the country, I believe, actually.
Yeah, he gone.
Yeah, so he was not able to join us tonight. I messaged Zach. I said, hey, Zach, you want to come on? You want to co-host this thing? He said, absolutely. Obviously, Calvin won. So I was like, Calvin, do you want to come on? He's like, sure. He's like, what time? I was like, well, how long do you want to be on? So I don't know, Calvin, you technically aren't a co-host tonight, but we can upgrade you to co-host if you just want to chill and hang out with us. It's your call, though.
I mean, I'll probably just hang until Zach says something that I really don't agree with, and then I'll just hang up.
Okay, so we might have Calvin for a few minutes here.
Couple minutes.
Big show tonight, though, fellas. Lot to get in. We've got our first like controversial kind of issue in FPO, so I want to kind of see what you guys think about that. DNFs just all over the place. It was like Oprah out there just handing out DNFs. You get a DNF, you get a DNF, you get a DNF. Should disc golf lean into being unique? That will also be a question that we'll dive into as well. I've got two crazy slow play stories that you will not want to miss. We've got some EDWIN stats, some wild story of the week, and listener questions as well. Now, normally we open the show with me and Yuli kind of talking about how our week went. Calvin, we're going to skip that for you because we're going to get into that when we do the recap of Champions Cup. But Melton, tell the people, man, how you feeling? How was your tournament? How are you doing out there?
You know, I made it, so that's good. I left Emporia yesterday probably around like noon, and I got home in Tennessee this morning about 6:30. So all I've done today was
slow driver. Holy cow.
Bro, it's not close. It was like 13 and a half, almost 14 hours, but I made it, and then I just slept all day, you know, woke up, maybe took another nap after that, but hey, I made sure I was here on time, you know what I mean?
Do you stop at every Walmart too on the way to see if they have any good sports cards?
It's like every other one. You can't do every one because there's so many Walmarts, dude. Yeah. You would never get anywhere, right?
Yep. Trust me. How'd the tournament go? How did you feel you played this past week?
I was actually pretty stoked with how I putted the disc. Switched to a new putter, new plastic, felt great. Putting was great. I was actually competing with a high ankle sprain. So I was like forehand only on Country Club, which, you know, the first 7 holes is pretty lefty friendly. And then after that, you know, like you need some distance out there. Hard to do that with a forehand, but it's a dynamic event. You know, that's their big flagship tournament. I wanted to play. And so, you know, I had a good time. Really, the week for me is more about the experience and, you know, just how I'm competing on the course. You know, it's super busy, but always a fun week. So had a good time in Emporia for sure.
High ankle sprain and not a DNF. Wow, that's impressive stuff.
That's crazy,
we
dude.
normally don't see that there on the Pro Tour. My week was very, very interesting. It seems like my ceiling, like I'm slowly starting to get back to where I'm seeing some parts of my game get close to my ceiling. I had a nice stretch there in round 2, I want to say, where I had 5 or 6 birdies in a row, so that was nice. Round 3 was a nightmare for me. I don't know what you guys think about the tee pads. I think we might want to get into that a little bit. I think Calvin has some of the craziest footwork ever because it seems like no matter what the tee pad is, you go back to the Paul Macbeth gate where he said like the tee pad on that one hole back at Jonesboro was trash. Never had a problem with Calvin. So Calvin's doing something. I don't know if it's because we have bad knees.
It's because he plays in socks, bro. When you plan on no grip, when there's no grip, there's no issue. You know what I mean? He's just slipping, sliding around. He's great.
I know, but that's how I like tore my MCLs. My legs slipped out from out me, and I just ripped everything in my knee. Maybe Calvin doesn't have knees. Like maybe you don't have tendons in your knee. Is that the secret?
I'm not sure. I mean, I've never had them scanned or anything, but it could be. Or maybe you only tore your MCL because you weren't planning on slipping, and I'm always planning on slipping.
That could be it. That could be it.
Interesting. You're preparing for the slip.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Also,
yeah.
No, he might be the least flexible person on tour. I'm pretty sure his hammy he can like
he can't touch his toes.
Knees. He can barely touch his shins, bro. So like maybe that's why he doesn't fall. It's like he can't. His legs literally won't do it. They're just locked up.
Okay, so being stiff, stiff and preparing yourself for slipping is the secret here.
Gotta be it.
Yeah, didn't cash again. Shocker. Haven't cashed all year. However, I did pull a Wimby out of 99. It's getting sent out to PSA, and if that comes out PSA 10, that's a $25 to $3,000 card. So some might say I actually did cash. Perspective. It's a perspective thing, right? I did get that mega box.
Comes back as like a PSA 6.
I will never bring it up. You'll never know. You'll never hear me talking about it. We'll just move on. All right, but that was pretty much my turn. I've got some stories that I want to talk, but we got a lot of other stuff first to get into. But the stories will come, and trust me, you're going to want to hear them. All right, so let's just jump into the final round here, Calvin. Let's just jump into it. You buried the first 7 holes. Now, again, Emporia's got those, industrial flags, so they don't really blow like normal flags do. If they put normal flags on their baskets, they would not exist because of how windy it is out there. So it was windier than it looked on TV. The fact that you birdied those first 7 in the wind that we had, in the conditions we had with the tee pads and everything, that's pretty impressive. How were you feeling after that and seeing basically the other 2 people on your card, Ezra Robinson and Gavin Rathbun, basically eliminate themselves from contention?
Yeah, I mean, I went into the day feeling pretty good. I got out there and was warming up and felt really good. I got out on the practice green, and that putt was feeling pretty good as well. I actually ended up using a different putter that final round than I had been using the rest of the tournament. Hadn't been super stoked with my putting the prior 2 rounds, and had to change something up. But yeah, I mean, I felt really good. It was definitely a little breezy there at the beginning, but I was throwing the disc really well. And, even when I threw a shot that wasn't great, I was making all my putts. So, I think on those first 7, I guess I mean, I had a couple tap-ins, but I also, made a couple like 25 footers, and I made like maybe a 40 footer on hole 5. So I think that was really the key for me. It's just when the putter feels really good, you can just throw really free because you're not super concerned about putting it super close.
Do you feel like you're like a streaky putter? Or do you think like the way that you putted this past final round is like you're closer to that norm?
I don't know if I'd call that like a norm, but I would say compared to where I've been putting the past couple tournaments, I feel like I'm a better putter than that. I definitely have my moments on the green where I'm pretty good, and then there's also tournaments where I'm just not. But
that's that cough.
What?
Huh?
Sorry, I think you coughed. I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, excuse me. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, but yeah, I think I know this year as a whole, minus the last 2 events, I've been putting really well. So, it was nice to kind of get closer to what I had been doing.
We're going to fast forward here to hole 13 and hole 14. I think this was kind of the deciding factor of when you won the tournament. If you go back and play, couch, what is it called? Couch quarterback? What is that? No, that's not. What's that term that they use where it's like player, you say like, oh, they should have called a timeout. Oh, Monday quarterback. Is it Monday quarterback? Monday morning quarterback. There it is. How are neither one of you helping me there?
You're doing great.
Okay. Monday morning quarterback, where it's like we've already know the outcome, and so it's easy to say, yeah, this is what you should have done after already knowing the outcome. But looking at that, I think that was the window for Ricky to actually make this thing close. You had you throwing a little bit wide on hole 13's tee shot, hitting the trees, dropping into the hazard. Ricky then comes right up, does the same exact thing. Yep. And you're like, all right, well, I'm not going to lose a stroke to Ricky on this hole. Next hole, hole 14, you got to be thinking that Ricky's going to try to eagle that hole. People are eagling it all week, and we had tailwind, so it was a great win to eagle it that day. You kind of throw like burn over a little backhand. Luckily enough, it doesn't like cut roll too much and stays in the fairway. And so you're thinking, okay, well, maybe Ricky gets a good one off here, and maybe he picks up an eagle and gets a stroke. No, he throws the same exact shot you do.
Yeah.
Once those two kind of instances occurred, did you kind of feel like, all right, I can kind of coast now?
I don't know that I felt like I could really coast. I think, you know, those last 3 holes in particular really have the capability to, you know, have 2-stroke swings really quickly. So definitely didn't feel like I could coast, but, you know, keeping that 3-stroke lead, you know, with 4 to go is definitely pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you're throwing the disc pretty well.
Zach, were you able to get close to eagling hole 14 at all? Being lefty?
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
More tech difficulties.
Well, let's try to dub what he's saying. So I think he's like, well, you know, being a lefty, hole 14, you know, it's a tough gap. Would like to throw a roller there, you know, and try to get it up there 500-600 feet, and then, you know, now I got to do like a 360 to get it to go over the OB green.
I think you're probably close to what he was trying to say.
Okay, I thought so too. Size, do we have audio here? Okay, he's gone. Yeah, we're off to a great start, but you know, it is what it is. We'll get Zach back in here in a second. So you mentioned obviously the putting, right? You putted really well that final day. Did you know, like, when you're putting that well, do you know, like, hey, I haven't missed a putt? Like, is that something when you step up to a 30-footer, a 33-footer, is that going into your head of where you're like, oh wow, like I'm on hole 14, I haven't missed a putt today?
I don't really think about it that way. I think it's just like I feel like when I'm putting well, you know, you just feel comfortable walking up to your lie, and I'm not really thinking about like things that I've already done, but it's just I feel really comfortable, you know, getting up there, setting up my stance, and then the putting stroke just feels way smoother, you know, when you're just in the right mind headspace. I'm not exactly sure how to always get there, but I don't think I'm like truly thinking about anything I've already done or wanting to continue some kind of streak or anything. It's just like I feel really good. I'm pretty sure I'm going to make it. And, you know, sometimes, you know, that feeling extends all the way out to like 45, 50 feet. But, you know, other days it doesn't.
Size, do we have Zach?
Am I back?
You're back. All right. I don't know if you heard me. I tried to dub as best as I could as what you were probably saying. Was I close?
Yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it. That's perfect. Okay,
that's exactly what you were saying.
Oh yeah.
Strategy-wise on hole 14 there. Okay. All right. How do we feel about the reaction off the wall on hole 16? It seemed Ricky was a little upset with the fact that your disc hits the wall, stays in bounds, and his disc hits the wall, comes up, rolls, and goes OB. What are your guys' thoughts on hole 16 and having that wall behind the basket there? Do we like the wall?
No.
You're anti-wall. You don't think there should be a wall. Tear the wall down. Let discs just come in willy-nilly. No checks or balances. Just let them come in. Yep. That was going to be a great point.
What do you say?
I don't know, but I think we all know Calvin is anti-wall. He doesn't want a wall. He wants to tear the wall down.
Right.
Okay. Zach, are you anti-wall as well?
Anti-wall.
Anti-wall as well.
Anti-wall. Yeah. So you used to have to. The hole was a lot more difficult because you had to land it on the island. You couldn't just burn it into the wall. I actually have never seen a shot hit the wall and roll out like Ricky's. So feel bad for him, but yeah, anti-wall.
Okay. Calvin, you're back. Are you saying Silas, I think we're blowing up this program. I think we're tearing this program down. We might have to do something different, brother.
We're tearing it down.
I think we're just like we're gonna tear down this wall. I think we're tearing down this program.
The wall's gone. The wall's gone.
Calvin, you want to try and finish your point there?
I don't know where I got cut off. All of a sudden, I just saw a refresh.
I think people were saying. I think you were saying like I don't like the wall. I want things to just be able to come in easily. No protection on the borders, I think is what you were saying.
I think he said his shot got lucky too to stay.
Yes.
Yeah, my shot definitely got lucky. I thought it was out of bounds like as soon as I let go. But regardless, the wall's there. People play into it, and I don't know. I generally, my feeling on like walls and like fences when they kind of make borders for disc golf and we play into them, I don't like it. It's like
anti-border.
You're ruining like the touch aspect of the shot, and you're just like, I mean, you're throwing it into a solid object, and I mean, most of the time you're not going to roll. Yeah, in Ricky's case, that was very, abnormal and unlucky for him. But I just think like when we're playing holes where that is the real play, like it's like, oh, chuck it in the wall, and then you can make the decision whether you want to putt. It just feels pretty lame. Like,
what if it had walls
I
with
think you
like?
should be making your decision on whether.
Sorry, go ahead. There's a little bit of a lag, but go ahead.
I don't even know what I was about to say, but yeah, I think you should be making your decision off the tee whether or not you're going for an island, and if you miss it, you should be punished there. Like I don't like bank shots really. I mean, if it's there, play it, but I just don't think it's something we should be designing into courses.
What about the new drop zone? I feel like this is a part of disc golf that I just will never agree with. It's the part that says like, hey, we need to have more aceable holes because that's exciting. And it's the same crowd that's like, we need to have this death putt to save par drop zone. I will never understand the argument. Maybe you guys are for it and you guys can try to explain it to me, and maybe people have explained it poorly. But to me, it's like, I think the drop zone there should be the FPO tee pad. Changes the angle. It's like 50 to 60 feet shorter, and it makes it to where it's like you don't just get an auto 4. Like if you throw it in the water, you're just an auto 4.
I thought you were saying the FPO tee pad should be the drop zone on the island. I was like, I don't know about that.
Wait, what?
I misunderstood you.
If you throw it in the water, you should go to the FPO tee pad.
Yeah, I thought you were saying the FPO tee pad should be the drop zone on the island. I was like, I don't know if everybody will get on board with that, Brodie.
Stop listening to him.
Wait, I think that's what I am saying.
I think no. The 40-foot putt. I thought you were saying that's the FPO tee pad. I was like,
oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. There might be some people that like that. Do you know how many aces there would be, Melton?
Dude, Owen would love that tee pad. She would love it.
So Owen would have so many aces. But yeah, talk about drop zones, guys. What are your thoughts on drop zones? What's the ideal drop zone for a hole like that? Because Maple Hill has the same situation, right? It's like pretty much an identical for hole 8. It's pretty much an identical drop zone, right?
And
where
14.
It's like, yep, 14.
Yeah, 14 now.
Yeah. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I'm not a huge fan of it. Like I guess if it happens here or there, whatever. But I don't like how that's kind of becoming the norm. Like Maple Hill, when they implemented it on 14, I was like, I think I actually complained about it last year. I thought it was, or 2 years ago when they first implemented it, because I don't think it's that good. Like it used to be really cool where it was like almost like a series of cascading tees. Like you could actually watch someone blow up on that hole, and like there's actually like stroke swings there, as opposed to now like you're basically guaranteeing a bogey, and then like you're giving someone who may have just absolutely thrown the worst shot ever a chance at getting a par
because they're a good putter. Yeah.
Yeah.
My argument is, when we think of like what's the most exciting, the most crazy hole in disc golf, a lot of us go to hole 17 at USDGC. And it's like, that hole would suck if they had a 40-foot drop zone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why that hole is so, go ahead.
Eventually you do. You eventually have a 40-foot drop zone kind of.
Yeah, but it's for like a 9 though.
Yeah, is that after? I think that's legitimately a pace of play situation, right? I think.
Yeah, I mean you're putting 7 at that point.
Yeah. So yeah, to me, like that's where it just doesn't make sense. We have a hole, everyone loves it, and now we're like going away from it. I did not like the change. I mean, I didn't like the old drop zone either, where it was like a jump putt, but at least it was still kind of a dicey. Like you could just throw it in the water and never clear. Like I saw people do that and have to rethrow or re-putt or whatever you want to say. But
yeah,
I wasn't really a big fan of that. All right, Zach, we're gonna do a little thought experiment here. Okay, I'm gonna paint you a picture, and I want you to tell me what you would do in this situation. Okay, so here you go. I'm gonna drop you in. All right, you've got a 4-shot lead with a death putt on hole 16 from about 30 feet. What are you doing?
Honestly, probably airballing that thing out into the water.
You're trying to make it. You're trying to make it.
No. My ass is laying that thing up so quick.
Okay, Calvin, same question to you.
I already answered that question 3 days ago.
He did.
What? I got a lot of tweets when I said you were coming on. I got a lot of tweets being like, "What was he doing on 16? What was he doing on 16?" So do you want to just throw it out there? Are you a psychopath?
Yes.
I felt good on the putting green. And you know what? Like it was just like one of those moments where I was like, I feel good. I didn't feel like there was any chance in the world I was going to miss it. And I was like, if I make this, it's absolute.
Yeah.
Like I could just completely screw up the last 2 holes.
I got to defend him.
It was inside the circle. Rick literally, like, you see, like, the whole time, like, I mean, I know Gannon was in it, and he was kind of, after Rick laid up, technically my closest competitor, but, like, I don't know, I watched Rick lay up when that decision never will make sense to me. Why did Rick lay up from the drop zone right there? But,
was he? He was 3 back from you right there. If he makes that putt, if he makes that putt, you miss your putt, or heck, you try to run your putt and you go in the water. Now all of a sudden he's only 2 back with 2 to play with an eagle chance on that final hole, which I think was a good change for that reason. So I think, but that's my question is like him laying it up. Why did that not alter you to be like, oh, I don't even want to give him a stroke here. I'm just going to keep my 4 shots in the last 2.
He was trying to finish him.
Just Mortal Kombat.
Finish him. That was it.
Like I don't know. Like I like realistically, you know, as I said, I felt good on the putting green. If I feel good about a shot, I'm gonna throw the shot regardless. Like if I go out throwing a shot that I feel comfortable throwing, I can live with that. But if something dumb happens, like I lay up and it somehow rolls off the island, like.
Well, that's why you scuba layup. Upside down scuba layup. Never will do that.
How do you live with that? And that's kind of always, you know, the way I look at disc golf. It's like if you go in there and you have your game plan, and you go and try to execute your game plan, it doesn't work out. It doesn't work out. You can move on to the next event. There's no lost sleep about it. Like
I got to defend him a little bit. Round 2, I made the island. It was a miracle. I was over there, similar spot, left side. You take that meter off the wall, dude, and you're like 28 feet. And it's like
you are close.
Am I about to lay up a 28-footer? Like what I've got a legit look here. I mean, and in his situation, it's like he's putting the disc incredible all Sunday, you know? Like the basket I'm sure looked like 4 feet wide. So if I ran that putt and maybe airballed it into the water, you know, on Saturday, I'm sure Calvin was going to run it to just like finish the tournament right there, basically.
Is that the same idea too on hole 17, Calvin? You hit first available, drop down the fairway. Never a thought to just throw, you know, a little mid straight and then chip over and take your par and move on?
No, tell him you messed up.
I went to hole 17 and I missed that putt, and I was like, oh dang, I'm not just amazing anymore. And I was like, all right, we got to play this safe. So I was like, I'm not going to rip the destroyer way down there. Let's grab a fairway driver. Let's do what the smart person would do. What do? I throw it into the tall tree branch. Like, that's like that branch I never even think about. Normally,
He'll never lay up again.
I never even think about it. Throw the fairway driver, mess up. And at that point, I was like, why did I ever deviate from the game plan? And when I got to that lie, honestly, like I saw Gavin had thrown a similar tee shot, and he had to throw before me, and he like threw that nice long straight shot, and I'm looking down there, and I'm like, man, like I throw that shot, like it's still not like a gimme up and down.
Yeah, no, it's not.
It's like it's not realistically like playing that way isn't like that easy of a par. Like you're closer to the basket, but like you still have obstacles in the way, and it's honestly something I've never practiced. And I'm looking out to the right, and I see a wide open gap with a shot I'm comfortable with, and it's like it's really not even that far to clear to get in bounds. Like
no,
like
it's more like if you would have just clipped something on the way out, and now you're lying 350 feet away from the basket, right? That's kind of like the worry there.
He'll never lay up again. He'll never lay up again, dude.
I understand that worry, but like, I don't know. I don't think in that
it doesn't ever pop into your head that worry.
I mean, sure, I see the ceiling, but like, I'm throwing a 13 speed disc, and I have, I don't know. If I throw an absolutely, I don't clear. If I clip it a little, the 13 speed disc might still even make it over. Like it's not really that long of a clearance from right there to like be in bounds,
Yeah. No.
I don't know. I mean, you can talk about being right or wrong. I mean, obviously,
sure.
It worked out, but like I just feel like generally for me, when I try to like deviate from my game plan, I tend to start just throwing worse shots because it's not something I practice, and it's like all of a sudden I'm playing not to play good golf, and I'm playing to like protect a lead, which I don't know. I just feel like just puts you in a maybe I'll get better at one day.
Changes your mindset.
Yeah, no, it does make sense for sure. I could see though certain scenarios, and obviously it worked out, right? Like this is where it's the Monday quarterback of where you're like, well, clearly it worked out, but I could also see in certain scenarios where there could be a play of where it's like, maybe I do just go putter, lay up, tap in, and get off, and like, kind of just limp myself to a victory here. When you're up that much. But I see what you're saying too with like deviating the plan, you change your mindset. That's a course that you have to attack, right? We just came from Champions Cup, which is a course that if you try to attack it, it will bite you. But this course is like you have to try to attack it. You have to try to play aggressive and get the birdies out there, the eagles and all that. So I get that. All right. So we'll wrap up your round here, and then we'll kind of get to some of the other stories that happened in the MPO division. You were able at that point just to kind of play easy for hole 18, no real stress there. We're able to lay up and tap in and move on there. How does it feel? Like, do you make as big of a deal as all these other people that are saying like, oh my gosh, that was the first time Calvin's won in forever? Like, is that like, are you, when you tap in there and win, or is that going through your head of like, holy cow, it's been a while since I've done this? Or are you realizing like it's just really freaking hard to win?
I mean, obviously I know I haven't won in a while, but I think in that moment you're not necessarily thinking, oh, I haven't won in a while. Like, you're more just like, you're still like, I don't know, kind of like in that moment, and kind of trying to come to the realization that you did win the tournament, I guess. But I don't know. Like, I know I'm a good golfer, and like I know I'm going to continue to give myself opportunities to win. So it's not like, to me, it wasn't like the biggest deal in the world. I knew it was going to happen again. It was just like a matter of time. And I mean, it is just really hard to win. Like, it's like you can go sit there and be like, oh, you didn't win 5 events or whatever. And like, he was close however many times I was last year. But it's like, if I win all 5 of those events, like, it's like, well, all these other people that are also great, that means they won almost nothing, you know? It's like, and that's just not how it really works. There's a lot of great golfers out there. And in order to like actually string together that many wins, it's just extremely difficult. Like, you just don't really see it very often. Like what AB's done to start this year is like, I mean, we haven't seen that in a while. Like, someone string off that many wins in that short of a time span. Like, it's just not something you really see, because it is extremely difficult. The scoring is, you know, getting tighter and tighter. So just makes, you know, every little.
I got a question for Calvin.
Go for it.
All right. Which win felt better, you know, locking down DDO on Sunday, or just like winning like 32 games of Mario Kart Sunday night? What was
Is that how you celebrated?
Dude just won't let anybody win, bro. He's a wizard.
Who's your character?
He uses the same one.
Who? Who'd you say?
Dry Bones.
You guys are playing the new one.
Yeah.
He's like the little Dry Bones.
Yeah, that's like
He's
the
like
new
the
Mario
little
Kart.
gray.
Yeah.
He's skeleton. Probably winning the tournament. You know, I knew I was going to beat you all in Mario Kart. I played you earlier in the week. I knew y'all were scrubs. If Erica was there, I definitely wouldn't have won them all.
Yeah, she's good too. She's a wizard.
Wow. I did have some people that asked what you did to celebrate. Do you have like a go-to meal after a win?
I don't know if I have a go-to meal, but we went to Casa Ramos, got some margaritas, you know.
Ooh.
It was Cinco de Mayo as well, so it's like
Shout out.
So yeah, I went to Casa Ramos. It was great. Signed some discs for the owner. He brought out some tequila shots for us too. He like pointed me out on it, like I was all over the TVs in there too. So
yeah,
it was a good time.
Yeah, he kept pointing. He's like, that looks like you. He's like, that is me.
Tis I. Question here from one of our Tour Life crew members is coming from Nathaniel. He wants to know, how much flippier is Calvin's yellow Destroyer compared to the black 2022 Halo one?
So specific.
Yeah, he knows your bag.
Well, that's a tricky one because there were 2 yellow Destroyers in my bag this past week. But honestly, I don't think I ever threw the really flippy one. So I have one that's like really flippy, that's like borderline a roller disc at this point. It could be used for rollers, but I'm bad at those, so I don't.
It says
really
the champ one.
The champion. Oh, okay, yeah, that's not a Destroyer. The champion distance driver I was throwing was a Quantum Quasar, and that disc is really overstable. That is like I don't know. I guess I had one disc that was more overstable than that, but I didn't use it all weekend. But that's like
wasn't windy enough.
Yeah, that's like near the top end stability of distance drivers in my bag. Like the black and white Halo Star Destroyer that I generally use it's overstable, but it's still workable. I can get it to turn some if I really get on it. Where the Quasar, like I would need some wind to get that to turn on its own.
When I was doing my research and rewatching coverage and seeing, you know, what decisions were being made, what shots were happening coming down the wire. Size, do we have this photo that I sent you? Do we have it? Okay. So for our podcast listeners here, I'm going to kind of describe this photo and what we're seeing here. This is hole 18, final hole. Obviously, it's already been decided. Calvin's going to win this thing. You've got Ricky putting from just inside a circle, so right about 30 feet or so. And if you look close enough, just behind the basket to the left, you have a cameraman. Now, all these people that are inside the rocks, it looks like a caddy or scores official over here. You have in the green vest, you have another cameraman that looks like it's filming Ricky putting down the line. And then just to the right of him and just left of the basket here is another cameraman. I'm assuming probably for live coverage or something. That guy's filming, not Ricky. That guy's back is turned and is filming Calvin, right? Trying to get Calvin's reaction right before he wins. Ricky airballs this putt, and it almost hits this guy. This is something that, like, it obviously goes super unnoticed. No one's really going to talk about it because who cares? But, like, what are we doing here? Why is there a camera guy in the field of play? I mean, just imagine this in any other sport where you have someone in the field of play and their back is to the action. I mean, the fact that this putt could have just drilled this guy in the back and saved it from going OB, I don't know. I don't know if I'm blowing this out of proportion. I don't think I am. It's just like some small little things like this just drive me drive me wild.
Wait, you saying the guy that's ahead of Ricky is filming me? I'm pretty sure I'm behind Ricky at this moment.
Who's this guy filming?
I think he was filming me.
Yeah,
he's filming you, Zach? You're the culprit?
Dude, I was over there I don't know who he was filming, but it was like towards the crowd. And then I'm like waiting for Ricky to putt. And then all of a sudden, whoosh. And I'm like,
it literally rolls around his foot.
Rolled around his foot for sure.
And it's like, what are we doing?
I mean, did Ricky do it on purpose? Is he proving a point?
If he did, hats off to him. I appreciate that, because this stuff drives me bananas. It's like, how many events do we have to get to where like stuff like this? Also, let's stop going to the drone so much. Let's stop cutting mid-flight. I mean, there's so many things that's like, I don't know why we're still doing the same things we're doing over and over and over again. But yeah, it's a little pet peeve of mine there. Let's talk Joseph Anderson here, guys.
Joey buckets.
This kid should have won. This kid should have won Rookie of the Year last year. For sure, got snubbed. I don't know if he's like basically showing everyone like, hey, I got snubbed. Ends up going out final round, shooting the course record 55. Calvin lays up on 18, which very nice of you to lay up to give him the solo course record there. Because if you would have made that putt, you would have tied the course record.
He laid up on 16 too, right, Calvin?
Yeah, I laid up there too.
That is it. Throwing it into the basket is a smart layup. But what do you guys think of Joseph Anderson? I think he's got a super solid game. I think he's here to stay. He's going to be someone that definitely is going to be competing for a while, I think.
Yeah, I can't say I'm like super familiar with his game, but I've definitely seen him on the leaderboards quite a bit this year. I feel like from what I have seen, he's a pretty good putter, and he keeps it in play. He kind of like, I don't know. I guess I haven't seen enough of him, but like I feel like, he kind of maybe reminds me of like a Matty O. Doesn't necessarily like throw the farthest, but puts it where he wants it, and then is just really good on the green.
Very smooth thrower. Very like almost never looks like he overexerts himself. It's always like nice, compact, in the fairways. Pretty much has every shot.
Yeah, no, he's a fun one to play too. That putt he made on 16 to kind of keep his streak going on the back nine was also really nice. Gannon Burr had a solid tournament. Second place finish there. Again, kind of moved up, shooting a 57 the final day. Moved up a couple spots there to take over second. Gavin Rathbun, probably the best player that's unsponsored this year. Definitely, right? There is, without a doubt.
He's got some sponsors, but no disc manufacturer.
Disc manufacturer, yeah. And I think he even said something. I think I saw where he said something like where he's like not even interested in picking up a sponsorship right now because he loves the way his bag is.
Yeah, he's playing like he was with Dynamic Discs, I think, for the last 2 or 3 years, and I think he had a couple injuries that just like he had the shoulder thing, and I think he even talked to Calvin during the round how it's just taken a lot longer to get back than what he thought it would. But I think this is a Gavin, I think that we all kind of you kind of saw flashes of like 4 or 5 years ago, like for sure. And it's cool to see him play good because injuries are tough, man. Everybody just thinks you should bounce back really quick. As soon as you're able to play, you should be back to 100%. But it takes a while. It takes a bit.
Yeah, we had him on the podcast, and it was interesting to kind of hear his story and hear how he's been developing kind of over the last couple of years. Because you're right, like when he came on the scene, I think everyone was like, "Oh, this is the next guy,"
Yeah.
and then really got some bad injuries to really kind of knock him off. And I think you're right. I think we're starting to see the potential that he had, or at least the potential that some of us saw back in the day. Andrew Presnell, this was impressive to me. Okay. Coming off of a major win, I think it's an easy assumption that he's just like, I won a major. I'm good. I don't really need to fight. You know, if stuff starts going bad for me, whatever. The dude battled 62, 62, 59 all week. Great rounds all week, finishing in 5th place. On a course that's exact opposite of where he just won.
Yeah.
I don't this to me this was surprising. Were you guys surprised to see this? I mean, his practice round he looked terrible with Joe.
I mean, he's definitely capable. Like, you know, I would say like the top 70 players, anybody's capable of going out there and playing really good golf. But like you said, right after getting the biggest win of his life, you know, there's definitely a hangover. You know, like you can just go out and chill, not really worry about it. But this is probably, minus winning last week, his other best tournament of the year.
Yeah.
Right? And he just went back to back to do it. It's very impressive.
Yeah, I was very surprised to see his name as high as it was. Finishing out the top 10, we have Ricky Wysocki, who always plays well at this tournament, at this course. Chris Dickerson with a nice finish. Gavin Babcock also. Isaac Robinson, someone that, you know, has been maybe struggling a little bit this year. Good to see him kind of getting in the top 10. Mason Marchbanks, great finish for him as well in the top 10. Someone that's not in the top 10. For the first time this season, Anthony Barella.
Only 2 strokes off, though, right?
Yeah, very close. He shot 15 under. Top 10 was 17 under. Kind of had a bad second round. Went 59, 68, 62, which this course is like that, right? If you're playing poorly, if you're throwing and you're off a little bit, this course will eat you up. It's very scoreable, but it will eat you up with errant shots.
Yeah. I think he finished round 2 with an eagle on 18 to get that even par 68 also.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh, you're right. He did. He went a hyzer over hole 16.
Yeah, it was in the air forever. I was like, is this real?
Did you guys
know this was a route?
Did you guys practice that at all? Like, well, not over 16's basket, but like the long going for it shot.
Yeah, I think I tried it a couple times the first day I got there, and
how'd it go?
I put 2 in the drink, and I said, "Not for me."
Just play for par.
Honestly, probably one of my worst holes of the tournament. I got a par on it every round.
The angle, that's the thing too. I don't know if that really translated to people watching. The angle that disc is coming into the green, like it is a big green, right? It is a very wide left to right. When you're looking at it, left to right, it's very, very big. But front to back, it's not really that big. And that disc is coming right to left. And so if that disc hits anywhere within like 15 feet of OB on the left, it's gone. So like you have to like land. He's like landing it in a sliver of what, like 20 feet maybe? Is like a safe area?
Something like that. Yeah, I mean, I never executed the shot, so it's hard to really say. But yeah, it definitely is not as easy as you might think. But I think I saw.
We have a stat alert. This is new stat alert. Stat alert provided by EDWIN Stats. Gannon is now the only player to finish in the top 10 in all elite/majors this year. Stat alert. There you go.
Dang. Does he do it the whole year?
I mean, I'm not going to say any whole year predictions because my only whole year prediction was Kristen Tatar, who's not going to lose an event this year, and that didn't work out for me.
Yeah, didn't happen.
Yeah, that wasn't a good take. That was a bad take for me. So okay. I'm staying away from year long predictions.
So too soon for like player of the year predictions?
No, I mean you can do it, Zach, if you're feeling it. Yeah, go throw out some names. Let's hear it.
Dude, I mean, Terry Miller.
Okay.
Yeah, really like how he's throwing the disc right now.
All right.
He's out there killing it. Yeah.
I'm sure he's gonna appreciate the shout out for sure.
Yeah.
There's some other notable names down here that we can call out if we want. I don't think that really matters. You guys will see this in a few days. People were saying this was on debate night. We filmed debate night before Tour Life, but it comes out on Thursday. So spoiler alert if anyone wants to save it for debate night. But they were talking about who on tour, Calvin gets the win, who on tour is now the most like I need to win guy. Like who is it that you're like, wow, when is that guy going to win again? And the argument somewhere was for Ricky, which I don't really agree with. And then another person that was thrown out there was Paul Macbeth. And to some people's shock, I actually defended Paul's play this year. And I said, I actually think Paul is on the up and up. I don't think he's actually like, I don't think he's someone that is like, when is he going to win again? Like he was in a category last year of where he fell off so much. It was no longer like we weren't even talking about where he finished, right? It wasn't even like, oh my gosh, can you believe Paul finished in 50th place? Like it just wasn't even a storyline anymore. And now the last couple tournaments, he's had some really, really good rounds. He's put together some really good rounds. He had that great round at Champions Cup. He's put himself in position at a couple of these tournaments. So I actually don't think that. But is there someone that jumps out at you guys that you're like, when is this guy going to get a W? When is he going to win?
I feel like what was it last year, the year before, Gossage was close a handful of times, right?
He's on my list. He's on my list for sure. And we're about to go out to OTB where he was on final card. And then Portland Open, if you remember, he had a 250-foot upshot to win the tournament at Portland Open.
Oh yeah,
remember that?
Adam. Yeah.
He also missed like a 15-footer through spit out, I think, on hole 16 coming down the stretch. So yeah,
he was just in Kansas where he almost won a Worlds, dude.
Yep. He's definitely on my list. Anyone else jump out to you guys?
Like when are they gonna win?
Like who you're like, all right, this guy needs to win. I think Ezra's on that list too.
Which one?
I think both.
Haterhold. I think you can make an argument for both actually.
Ezra's been playing better than Isaac this year, dude. He's made some lead cards. He's been playing well. You haven't seen him get on the lead card and like almost take down the dub, but you've seen him playing better and better where he's up there in the conversation of like top 2 cards. So I don't know. He kind of turned it on halfway through last year, and then he's been carrying that momentum into this season as well.
Yeah, he seems like someone that he definitely might need more time in that moment because he did not play well the final round of Champions Cup to start, right? He kind of shot himself in the foot and then battled back to put himself in a position to maybe make something happen late. And then same thing here. Like what was he like 3 over on the front 9 of the final round? Something like that, right?
Yeah, he parred, I think like the first 7 triple. Or he might have been 4 over. I think he parred the first 7.
Triple and bogey?
Tripled and then went bogey. I think he went triple, bogey, and then he got his first birdie on 10.
I think you're right, actually. Yeah, I think you're right. So he ended up falling all the way down to 11th place. He shot 60, 61, and then 67. So to me, we've seen that in back-to-back tournaments with him where when he gets put in a position to win a tournament, it seems like the moment might be a little bit too big for him right now.
Got to take those licks, get there and kind of go through that and kind of see what you learn from it. Maybe you do learn from it, maybe you don't, but he's been putting himself in position.
Yeah, that's all you can do. Shout out to Jared Stoll, too. Jared Stoll, great tournament, top 20 there for Jared Stoll. Going down the leaderboard, Yuli, another good finish with Yuli, another top 30 finish for Yuli.
Didn't Yuli post after round 1, like just I don't know. I feel like he posted about the tournament's not going great or haven't
I didn't see that.
I don't know.
See that. Was it on Instagram?
Yeah, I thought so. But then, I was looking at the results and saw he got like top 21st.
He finished 29th.
29th. Okay, a couple.
Yeah, he didn't play well the final round. Final round, he shot 69. Yeah, so 69 the final. Yeah, I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything like that. The final round got a lot of people. The final round, I think honestly the conditions with the tee pads and the rain. I'm looking at a lot of people's scores. There's very few people that played well, like played better on Sunday versus the first 2 days. There's a lot of 60s, 50s, and then 70s the final day.
Yeah.
I think that's probably all very wind dependent and weather dependent with those tee pads. All right. Should we talk some DNFs, boys?
Yeah.
You guys ready to talk some DNFs? We had 4, count them, 4 DNFs. And this is something that we actually haven't really talked about this year. This is something that we have brought up on Tour Life many, many times. But this year, haven't really seen too many of them to really where we're like, hey, what's going on here? We need to talk about this. Okay, so first one being Bradley Williams drops out after the first round. Do we have any insight on what that was about?
Yeah, I texted him. I think he was sick. I don't even think he finished the first round. I think he.
No, he didn't finish the first round.
I think he. Yeah, I believe he was sick. Tried to play and just realized it wasn't going to happen.
Okay.
So yeah, he dropped because I think it might have been some sinus infection or something. I forgot. He told me, but I don't remember exactly what he told me because I did text him to see what was up.
And for those that are wondering and those that care about ratings, because clearly I do not, if you have a 999 DNF, that basically means that your DNF is legitimate in the eyes of the TD and the eyes of the PDGA. And so that you don't get docked any points or anything against your rating. If you have a DNF of 888, I believe they dock you points.
Yeah, it comes off your rating.
I think it's like 5-point deduction on your rating for 6 months or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, next DNF. All 3 of these people DNF the final round. One of them didn't show up. I mean, that's what I heard. I haven't heard anything else. That's Nico Locastro. He just didn't show up for his tee time. Do you guys have any insight on what happened there?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I didn't see him that final day, so I don't know.
Yeah, through the grapevine, I just heard he didn't show up and didn't like reach out to anyone to tell him. So he actually has an 888 on his DNF. Okay, let me tell you guys my first story because this goes hand in hand with the next DNF. Okay, so this is round 3. We're playing so slow. I mean, it is so slow. We had a 20-minute gap between our tee time and the tee time in front of us. Every tee time had a 10-minute gap. For whatever reason, I don't know if they're like, oh my God, Brodie's on this card. We got to make a 20-minute gap so he doesn't complain about pace of play. Anyways, they did it. We end up catching them on, what hole did we end up catching them on?
Wait a minute. I was on the card in front of you.
Yeah.
Me.
You were. So Zach, you were. So you can actually talk about this a little bit. So it was you, Matt Bell,
No.
Jake. Wait, no. This is a different card then. Who was on your card?
I played with Kevin Jones, Austin Hannum, and who was our 4th? That's bad that I can't think of it. But yeah, I played with.
I think Matt Bell DNF'd in round 2.
Is this a round 2 story?
No, you caught us because we talked about it. It was me, Kevin.
Oh
Austin.
no, that was okay. Sorry, I got that's like a third actually pace of play story.
Okay.
Slow. That's
That was
not
round
my.
3.
Yeah, that was round 3. That was, I think, Jacob Curtis was in front of us, and he was slowing, or his group was slow. Whatever. Okay, so I think I'm talking about round 2 then.
Yeah.
Which is weird though, because he has a score though for round 2. Did they just hold on? Let me see. Because the group in front of me was Matt Bell, Jake Brown, Jaden Rye, Matt Bell, Jake Brown, Jaden Rye, and then someone I don't know.
Was this round 2? You talking about round 2?
The weird thing though is he has a score for round 2.
Yeah.
So that means he didn't DNF in round 2, but he did DNF. I saw him DNF. That's part of the story. Let me see here. Let me go to his score here. Okay, so it has him at that. Maybe they just gave him a +4 that final round. Let me see. Matt Bell.
They just finished his scorecard every hole.
Matt Bell. Yeah, they did. That's what they did. They gave him par +4 the last 3 holes. Okay, so this is crazy story. Okay, so this is round 2. Okay, here we go. Round 2. So we're playing super slow. We have a 20-minute gap. Or no 20-minute gap here. 20-minute gap to catch up to you guys, Melton. We're waiting on these guys all day. Like every shot, we're waiting on these guys. And again, you don't really know, is it the group in front of them? Is it them? Whatever. But we're waiting every single shot on these guys. We're on the hole 16. They're on the green. And so we're watching them on the green right here. We see a couple of guys tap out, and Matt Bell's disc is like 5 feet from the basket. He just walks over to his disc, picks it up, and then starts giving everyone on his card handshakes. And I was like, is he DNFing right now? And then he proceeds to just walk off into like the Flamingo crew, and it's just like is like hanging out in there, and then he's just done. So I'm not really quite sure what happened. I did hear from someone later on that he threw his first tee shot on hole 16 in the water or OB, and then proceeded to just throw again on that hole and not actually go to the drop zone. So I'm not really quite sure what happened. Okay. It could have been a round that was just spiraling out of control and he just wanted to end it. But I have never seen that before. I've never seen like a handshake, like someone had just won the tournament and then just like walking off and like chilling in the crowd. Like when we threw our shots and we're walking up, he was just like in the crowd.
Okay.
Any comment?
Interesting.
No comment? I can go to my next story if there's no comment, because the next story is kind of crazy too.
Yeah. I hadn't heard that.
I did hear about this.
Insider information.
He might have like a little back injury or something as well. I don't really know. I did hear the story of him throwing 2 tee shots on 16.
It reminded me of oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his. He was like a Masters player. Start naming some Masters players. He's got tattoos. Oh my gosh, what's his name?
Patrick Brown.
Yes. It reminded me of him back at Worlds in Utah. He was playing in front. Oh, he's playing behind me, I think. And as we were walking to hole 17, there's a backup or whatever. So we're watching hole 16, which was that island green that James Conrad famously aced.
Yeah.
And the drop zone is like 40 feet or whatever, and it's outside of the island, or 50 feet. No, it's probably farther than that, right? It's like 50, 60 feet.
It was like 50, 60 feet, yeah.
It's outside the island. I think he did like the same thing. He threw a tee shot, win OB, just said, I'm re-teeing, threw another tee shot, win OB, and then when he got to the drop zone, he just started lasering forehands. He started lasering forehands like 60 miles per hour at the basket and was just like unloading his bag. And I'm just standing there watching, being like, what is happening right now? Yeah, that was a good one. So to wrap up the Matt Bell story, they end up playing as a threesome, hole 17, 18. So we don't end up waiting on them anymore. So we get to hole 18, and me and Jake Brown, we kind of hang out with the same guys, or we know the same people. Like I don't really spend that much time with him, but we're at least, I at least see him and whatnot, and we know who each other are. So I feel like, we can joke around and say whatever. So I as I'm walking up to, they're doing their scores, as I'm walking up to my putt on hole 18, I was like, oh, so it took someone DNFing and you guys playing as a threesome for us not to wait on you. And he took offense to it a little bit, and maybe his round didn't go the way he went. But he said, I knew you were gonna say something about that. And then he said, we were taking a lot of shots out there, which, to be fair, him saying I knew you were gonna say something like that, I think that actually proves my point that he knew they were playing slow. Absolutely. And that I was going to call him out. To me, I say, and I think that's the worst excuse. If your excuse is, oh man, we were just throwing a lot of shots. If you're the worst person on your card, you also better be the fastest walker on your card, right? You shouldn't you should be hitting first available, and then everyone on your card getting to your disc before you get to your disc.
That's tough because I'm a slow walker, man.
Well, you learn how to walk faster, brother. Okay, so that was my first pace of play story. Turns out me and Jake Brown are fine. Gossage texted him, said, "Hey, do you hate Brodie?" He said no. Well, which I guess he could technically, hate's a strong word. So he might
hate you now that you brought it up on the pod.
Ah, no, Jake Brown's a good guy. No, he's fine. He actually had a really good round. Was it first round? I think he shot like 7 or 8 under first round. 7 under, solid first round. All right, second pace of play story. So this is also, I believe, round 2. This is the beginning of round 2. I'm walking over to the warm up area, and the first day we actually had a pretty big backup on hole 8. So as I'm walking to the warm up area, I'm looking over on hole 8 being like, what is today going to be? Like, do we have 2 people on the 2 groups on hole 8? Like, how is it going to be playing? No one's on the tee. So I'm like, oh, interesting. I look down the fairway. No one's on hole 8's fairway. I look at the basket. No one's on hole 8's basket. There's no one on hole 8. I'm like, oh, that's weird. I'm like, oh, is like someone putting on hole 7? Like, is someone about to get on hole 8? I look on the basket. No one's on the basket. I look in the fairway. No one's in the fairway. The next group is walking from hole 6 to the tee of hole 7. They have played only 6 holes. That's not a lot of holes to play. To already have a par 4 and a par 5 gap in between.
Who was on that card?
Hold on. Hold on. So I will say one of the people, I don't know if there was a slow player, but I will say one of the people that was on the card. But I do, because obviously I'm the tournament director right now, right? Because there is no marshal, there's no one looking at the scores to be like, oh wow, there's a gap here. We probably should deal with that. So I am the, as me paying PDGA, it's my right to have to do this as a paying PDGA member. I text Jeff Spring and I text Phil, 2 employees of the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and I said, hey, there's quite a big gap right now between hole 6 or hole 6 or whatever, the group, whatever. And I took a screenshot to show like that group's on hole 9. They're playing hole 9. This group is just starting to play hole 7. I'm like, and here's the whole reason, guys. The reason I do this is for people like Calvin, right? If I don't do this, Calvin has to play a 5.5-hour round, because if the backups get really bad, they only get worse. They don't magically disappear throughout the round, right? They just stack up on top of each other. So I see someone start getting in a cart and they're driving around. They drive in the opposite direction. Okay, they drive in the opposite direction, which is a bad thing. 5 minutes go by. They pull up to me and I'm throwing shots and they're like, hey, did you put a complaint in about slow play? I'm like, yeah. He's like, what group was that? And I was like, you can see it. You can see what group it is. And so they open up their PDJ Live app and they're like scrolling through, but the leaderboard is like, it's like the normal leaderboard where everyone's intermixed and stuff. I'm like, click the through button. It organizes it by hole. And I'm like, okay, see this group? They're on hole 8. See the next group? They're on hole 13. That's a problem. That's a problem. And he's like, oh, okay, I'll be out there. Am I crazy, guys? Is it that difficult for someone just to literally be like, oh, let's see if pace of play is doing good, and just pop on their phone real quick, click the through button, and just see if there's any big gaps? Am I crazy to think that that should be done?
Maybe nobody knows about this through button. Maybe we just solved it right there. Now everybody knows.
The sneaky through button. Cody said, just paid $2 to say Brodie is a drama queen, and I've enjoyed Brodie for some time, but golly. Hey, Cody, if you want to see 6-hour rounds, if you want to see Calvin scratching his butt while he waits to win a tournament for 10 to 15 minutes, hey, if that's your type of content, brother, that's kind of weird. That's not how I like it, but if that's what you like to see, brother, it's all for you. The fact that we're playing these rounds over 3 hours is blasphemy. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, guys. Maybe every other sport is like, hey, how do we make our game go longer?
TV
right?
timeouts.
Maybe that's what baseball was doing too. Like when they were doing the shot clock, they're like, we want to make our games longer. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, regardless of you being out there, I mean, I think my card, the final round, waited on most holes after, like, I think we actually caught Chase card on hole 7. So
I mean, the fact that people just don't like the fact that there's Codys out there that think like I'm being a drama queen when I'm trying to make the product better for you, Cody. Like that's what I think is messed up right now. The people that think pace of play is not an issue in disc golf. Do you know how many people I've heard like go to amateur tournaments, like go to amateur tournaments and say, I don't ever want to play again because of how slow you just sit on, you go to do a tee pad and you sit for 10 minutes when you go to like some of these C tiers. Like that's not good for disc golf.
Yeah.
No. I think if you're on a card and the group in front of you is slow, you just gotta bust out the phone and just start texting everybody on that card. Like, hey, we've contacted everyone. And we sent an email about the through button, so you're done. Everybody's gonna know real soon.
Hey guys, there's a through button up there. It's real fast.
You're toast. That's crazy.
Marco says you should not have backups in a pro sport. You should have both MPO and FPO playing. You shouldn't have both MPO and FPO playing on the same weekend. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should just allow people to start playing through. Also, maybe that's the cheat code.
Yeah.
Or just let us play with them. Like let us just play as an 8-pack. Yeah.
Mock golf. Yeah,
Let's
dude.
finish it out.
I'm down for that one for sure. Just finishing a 12-pack.
That's what people want to see, I guess. Okay, so those were my 2 slow play stories. That might not even be the craziest thing that happened this week. I just saw this video too, which makes this even crazier. I don't know if you guys saw this video. But let's run it. Run the video, Silas. Hopefully the audio works here.
The walk off. I'm dropping out. Last throw of the dynamic this open. Never done this before. Here we go.
Oh my god. This is so weird.
Oh, that was not a good grip. Please go in.
Oh my, if that goes in.
Go left. Go out the back. Alright. Perfect. See you later. Thanks, guys.
Okay, so for our audio listeners, that was Cole Radalin on hole 16, final round. Posted, I think this is maybe on a TikTok or something.
Instagram.
Instagram. Posted him throwing a shot on hole 16 and then just proceeding to walk off the course and not finish. I didn't know this video existed. I thought the Instagram post that he posted, I thought that was like where he like explained what was going on about what I thought that was the only thing that existed. I didn't know that they made content around. I mean, I have a lot to say, but I'll open the floor to you guys first.
I have a question. What did do we have like the caption or whatever to the video?
For the video, the caption of the video is "Gotta do what you gotta do." LOL.
And then there's a lot more. There's a lot more too, right? Didn't he like post a recap under it?
Silas, can you throw that up if you can get that?
Because he talked about like being in a bad headspace. I don't know. Sorry,
here we go. Gotta do what you gotta do, LOL. DNF from DDO. The FPO finished their round and had to run a playoff, which stopped our card for about 45 minutes. That sucks. I decided to walk off because the last 3 holes didn't matter anyway. People always say they are proud they have never dropped out, but I did it for logistical and practical reasons. This is definitely my first time doing so without being sick or injured. My play was really poor. However, I saw so much potential that just needs to be refined. Champions Landing has always been a tough track for me, but I won't stop coming back and giving it my all. That's kind of ironic. In the future years, I apologize to all of the family and friends that I disappointed with this decision. However, my goals are set higher than holes that don't matter. Not proud of myself at all for throwing in the towel too early in round 2. I gave up and let myself spiral into a dark mental space. I'm very very excited to get home and regroup for the West Coast swing. Miss you, Oregon. All right, there you have it. All the context. I'll let you guys go first, and then I'll come in hot.
I don't like it. I think it's a poor look. I don't know. I generally just feel like if you sign up for a tournament, you should finish the tournament regardless of the outcome. Like, we can't have people, coming down the finishing stretch just like dropping. Because what if he drops and then another guy drops? Now we have logistical nightmares where we got 2 people cards. I mean, like, it obviously sucks to play around where, like, you're not going to cash. So like it.
Yeah, I've done it every tournament this year. I know more than anyone else, Calvin. It sucks.
That's gotta be frustrating. But like, I think part of it is you just gotta like prove to yourself, like, you're playing bad, but why can't you try to dig yourself out of the hole a little and like try to like birdie the last 3 holes and then like use that as momentum moving forward? Like, why are we walking off the course with 3 holes to go? He says logistical purposes. Like, I mean,
there was a lot of stuff in that caption that doesn't make sense.
I mean, like, I'm not sure what his logistical purposes are, because he's only saving, I don't know, 30 minutes at that point. If he already threw, the FPO playoffs already happened. He's gotten the chance to restart and throw. So he's really realistically, if his cards turn to tee, like 16 takes almost no time to play, and then you got 17 and 18. So he's like saving himself a half an hour. So like, I don't really see that as a good excuse. It just looks like someone gave up, and I don't know. It's a pretty poor look. I generally think pretty high of Cole. Like, I think he's like a young player with like a pretty solid head on his shoulders, but I don't get this one. I really don't like it for him, and I just don't like the door that's opening. Because like, if we just start to see more of this, I just think it's a bad look.
Zach, you wanted to add anything?
Yeah, dude. I want to say I like Cole. I'm a big fan of Cole. I think he's a great kid, but this is just a really bad look. It's kind of a lame move. I feel like for all the people that care about disc golf, care about this sport, approach it as professional, this is not a professional look. There's no integrity just walking off the course and hearing everyone giggle and make jokes about it and just walk off. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's disrespectful to the tournament directors, the people who put in their time, your card mates. Like, I mean, I've seen some comments online. Everybody's like, "Oh, it doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. Don't overreact." But to me, it's frustrating because, everyone wants to drop out like with a couple of holes to go and say they have something going on. If you start a round and you know that you have an elbow injury or a knee injury and you're choosing to play, like, you're taking a spot from someone else who would love to play, who would love to compete. And so, barring, breaking your ankle on a jump putt in a hole or a ditch or something like that, like, or getting a call that, someone in your, family, like, had an emergency or something, like, you should finish the round. Like, that's, as a professional, it's not just to play. You're supposed to show up, play the course the correct way, keep score, hold everyone accountable. Like, that's all part of it. And it's just, I don't know. It's a bad look, and it's frustrating to me because I'm someone who's dealt with injuries the last 3 years quite a bit. And so if I can go out there and finish a round, bro, you can finish playing 3 holes,
Did you guys read? I haven't read any of the comments on this. Did you guys read the comments in the Instagram or on Reddit or anything?
Yeah, there's some people that are, it's like 50-50. Some people are like, bad look, and then other people are like, oh, he's a kid, it doesn't matter. And like, to me, it always matters. It does matter. You have sponsors, you're representing people. So I don't know. I think it's a bad look, bro.
This is where I think right now disc golf as a sport is in a very pivotal spot right now, because it seems like there's a lot of people on one side and there's a lot of people on another side for a lot of issues, and the sport can either go with this way or this way. It can't really do this. It can't go over here and then come back here and do this way, right? And there's another topic we're going to come up where it's the same exact thing. There's some people that are like, I hate this, and there's some people like, this is awesome. disc golf, and really honestly, at the end of the day, it needs to be the Disc Golf Pro Tour, right? Because my idea for sports, and I've said this from the very beginning with Ultimate Frisbee, is Ultimate Frisbee is a sport that no one owns, and there should be people that play it all over, right? There should be people that go out and play pickup on the beach. There's people that play it barefoot. There's people that play it by the wrong rules. There's people that play it with multiple people, like 20 people, 20 versus 20. And then you have like the professional side. And the professional side decides how they want the sport to go. I think right now in disc golf, everyone is kind of looking at the Pro Tour as this is what all of disc golf should do. And so if you want to keep disc golf weird or cool, like that's fine. But like that to me should be like its own sector. I don't think everyone that plays disc golf needs to play it by the same standards. Like I don't think people need to be super serious when they go play disc golf. And that's where like right now the divide needs to happen. Something like this. This is the major issue. This is the big issue, the big problem. Cole's a top player. Cole's a top player who is making a mockery out of just leaving a tournament. It would be one thing if he was like, guys, listen, I just waited 45 minutes. I'm playing like trash. I'm leaving. And not post anything about it. Everyone speculates what's going on. What happened? Is he injured? Whatever. That's still bad. But him posting and making it a joke and acting like, yeah, it sucks. Waiting around 45 minutes to have to play. We'll get to that in a second because that's a whole different issue. But making like this makes disc golf look bad. This makes disc golf look like it's a joke. You wouldn't see this in an actual professional sport. You just wouldn't see it. And if you did, the entire fan base would come after that person and say, this is ridiculous. And the fact that we have people thinking like, oh no, it's who cares? He's just a kid. Who cares? No. What? What are we doing here? He just walked off a course. This is crazy. I will never understand the people that think something like this. If you want disc golf to be super small and no one take it seriously and people think it's a joke, this is what you're going to get.
Yeah. The giggling and the laughing really, like when I watch the video, I'm just like, because I talked to one of his buddies who said he's had a history of not playing well in Emporia. Like these courses might be in his head. Like he, because if you look at Cole, he throws the disc really far. He's a great putter. Like he has a skill set. He should be able to kill it here.
I mean, he won Ledgestone, which is kind of a course that's similar to this style.
Sure. And the fact that, maybe it's in his head, whatever, but that when you watch that video, that doesn't look like someone who's really down on themselves and bumming. And no, it just looks like a joke. It's just unacceptable. I
might say something that people don't want to hear, but I'm going to say it anyways because I don't care, right? I think we have gotten super soft. I think we have gotten this idea that it's okay to just say, I'm not in a good mental headspace. I'm dealing with issues. Stuff's going on. And then everyone just hands up like, oh, we can't criticize this person. Like that is such a new thing. Yeah. We are in a dark. You do go to a dark space when you start playing terrible. Trust me, hand up. I've been there multiple times. We've all been there. It's how you react to it, right? Like just saying like, hey, I was in a dark space, guys. I need to go and get my head right. That I don't know. I hate that excuse. And I feel like it's a crutch that so many people use now is when tough times happen, they just be like, hey, I'm going through something mentally. My head's not in the right spot. I hate that excuse. I will never take that as excuse. If something crazy, like you said, Zach, something crazy happened, right? My wife just had a miscarriage. My dog just died. That might be actually a stretch for some people. To us, if my dog died, that would be pretty traumatic.
Yeah.
But like there are certain things where you're like, oh man, he's dealing with some stuff. But we've seen professional athletes have like family members, parents die the week of an event and they go out and perform. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think we're getting so soft and everyone's just so fine with just like being, oh, he's just, whatever. I don't know. I can't stand it. It makes me sick.
Yeah. I think there's a big difference between like what Cole did and then Brad attempting, like take Brad, for instance, it was round one, probably wasn't feeling great. he gave it a run and it just wasn't feeling it. So then he stopped, but to me, that's not even the same thing as making it through every hole but 3. And then you just chuck a shot on the second to last hole and then just walk out. Like I'm not a fan. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I like you guys.
Doesn't add up. Doesn't add up.
I'll add on to what you guys have already said. Cole, like the kid a lot.
Love him.
Tons of potential. Super nice kid. Tons of potential. I'm hoping he can look at this, like take some time and look at this and realize how bad this was, and like, make it right? Because to me, if I'm a Cole Redallen fan and I see this is I'm bummed out. I'm bummed out to see this. So, anything else on that DNF topic? You guys got anything else? DNFs?
No, I don't know. Not really. But yeah, I do think it's definitely an issue. Like, people quitting with a few holes left has definitely been an issue for a while.
Should something
be a couple of years?
Should something be done by this? Like the 888, I don't care about that. That's stupid. Should something like should the Disc Golf Pro Tour, the PDGA, should someone step in and do something like this, right? If you DNF from an event, you can't play in the next event, because that's the other crazy thing, right? We see it all the time. Someone not playing well, DNFs, blames it on an elbow, blames it on a wrist, and then I see them the next day at the next tournament practicing for the tournament.
Yeah.
Like, what they just magically get like what's going on here? So like, should there be some sort of punishment? Like Bobby said, start fining people. The fining is tough, right? Because if you fine Paul Macbeth $1,000, is that the same as fining another person on tour $1,000? Absolutely not, right? So the fining is tough, but what do you guys think?
If it's like a pattern where you see someone doing it multiple times, maybe start docking points. I don't know. I mean, it definitely
docking points from like the Disc Golf Pro Tour,
sure.
Like the Disc Golf Pro Tour points.
That's what everybody really cares about.
That's way more important than a rating.
Yeah.
What do you think, Calvin? Should there be some sort of punishment?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like if it continues to be a thing that happens, I mean, it's like you eventually have to do something, and for a lot of us, it's like rating isn't necessarily a huge thing. Like realistically, it is like it's getting your tour card is what matters now as a professional. I don't know exactly how that would shape up. I would really have to think about that. But
Brian H suggested 10 spankings in public.
Ooh, public spankings.
Spankings.
Who's doing the spanking? If it's Albert Tam, that's a big guy. That might hurt.
Did you guys see his forehand on hole 9?
Unbelievable.
Oh my! He threw his forehand to where a good shot at the old tee pad. That's like 60 feet closer. It goes. It was nuts. And then obviously AB also had that 700-foot double skip off the road on hole 1, which is just that was an insane shot. All right, let's talk about the bigger issue here, right? We're done talking about Cole. Cole, hopefully you figure it out, brother. I think you're a stud player. I just think this was a bad moment, and hopefully you can move on past this. But let's talk about the bigger issue. A 45-minute backup, right? FPO gets into a playoff. They're playing on the same course that another tournament is happening. Do we need to get to a point of where maybe FPO and MPO can play on the same course, just not on the final day? Because this has happened multiple times. This is not the first time this has happened. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, that definitely isn't ideal. But currently the way we have it set up where we're on the same course and as many players as we have playing, I don't know if there is a real solution. I think the real solution is like, I think you probably just have to implement a cut maybe. So you have less people playing, and then there can be a greater spacing between, the MPO and FPO players, so that there is like a buffer built in to where
they're maybe on hole 12 or something by the time the FPO is finishing or something.
But then, but yeah, I don't know if that always works though, because like, it's not every course where your playoff holes are going to be the last 3 holes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Jonesboro is hole 1, right?
Yeah, like different courses have different holes. Like every course has their own little playoff rules. Now we can have like these aggregate playoffs, which is 3 holes. So it's like,
I
but like
actually
in the
do like that.
but like, but they're not always, that loop isn't always going to be holes 16, 17, 18.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like it could be like 1, 7, 8 or something. Like who knows? Like
Yeah.
depending on the course. But like, so like I don't know if we can even get that big of a spacing. So I think it may always potentially be an issue as long as we're on the same course. Like even if you do implement a cut, I don't know if you can space us far enough apart unless your aggregate playoff is always like the last 3 holes, in which case you can probably make it work.
Yeah. Zach, anything to add there?
Yeah, it's just like depending on the course, it could be. I mean, I feel like in years past, Maple Hill was like maybe 1 in 18, and they kind of loop. So that would like affect everybody on the course.
That would be the worst playoff to see.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. It's hard to have the right answer because there's not everything's the same.
Oh, Lane. Oh, go ahead.
I also think like, I mean, there's all the time, like when we're playing disc golf, like everyone's not going to have the same weather. Not everyone's going to end up dealing with the exact same thing. So it's like, in the end, I think it's just like one of those things where you just have to overcome it. It's like,
oh, for sure.
Like I can think like whatever the weather delay at Champions Cup, my card, when we showed up the next morning, I showed up to a hole and there were 12 players. I was on the end of a 3-card backup. So I showed up at whatever it was, 6 something. I think, I don't remember.
It was 6 o'clock start time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I showed up there and the horn blows.
Or 6:30.
I have to wait. I have to wait for 2 cards essentially to play a par 4 before I even get to play. I like warm up and then get a cool off. And it's like, I mean, it's just like you can't really do anything about that. It's just the way it is. But it's just like you have to overcome,
Adapt and overcome.
Yeah, whatever obstacle is put in your way. And yeah, sometimes it's gonna suck and it's not gonna be to your advantage, but other times it's gonna be to your advantage and other people are gonna get, the short straw. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know if we're like realistically out of spot because like we're like this is really an issue that really needs like a ton of thought because in the end, like you had to wait time, but like I don't know. It's like I don't think we're at a point where the tours can like separate. Like I don't think
financially,
like,
viewership, no.
And it's like running multiple courses at the same time isn't logistically easy at all. Like it's like that's double the course assets. Like you need more.
It's a nightmare.
Like it's
You're now asking like spectators basically to choose who you want to watch because like the idea to go and watch FPO and then get and drive and go somewhere else. Some people are just not going to want to do that. So no, I agree with you. There's not really a great solution right now, unfortunately. But talking about solutions, we had no issue on May 4th identifying whether or not our disc was in bounds on hole 16, and that was thanks to a Jedi spotter on hole 16. So this was similar to the conversation I think with Cole of where I was saying you have so many people on this one side, and then you also have another group on this one side that are completely disagreeing with, and again, it's not just disagreeing of like, do you think Tom Brady's the GOAT? Do you think Paul Macbeth or Ken Climo's the GOAT? It's more like a culture thing. Do you think disc golf, and this is what I was saying earlier, do you think disc golf should lean into this unique, wacky, nerdy, whatever you want to call it? Should we lean into that? Or should we say, hey, like, let's go away from this and let's move to a more professional look like some of the other top sports that are out there? So what are your guys' thoughts on having a Jedi as a spotter with a green lightsaber and a red lightsaber?
Well, he gave me green, so I was cool with it.
I did not agree.
But you guys, you see what I'm saying? Like how polarizing like this, like certain things like this are, which I can see how some people are like, you're making a big deal out of nothing. I don't think I am though. This is like this is literally the direction of where you want professional disc golf to go.
Yeah. I don't know. You want to go first, Zach?
No, you got it.
Okay, I'll go first again. I don't know. It's a weird one because like I think you can see like what's happening there specifically in Emporia on hole 16 is probably directly related to what started at hole 8 at Maple Hill a few years ago. And
are you talking about the flamingos specifically?
Yeah, not necessarily that. Just like the nature of the hole and like the just like how the crowd reacts. Like I mean, like last year we played that hole, and if you threw in the water, they played like the beginning of the SpongeBob intro theme song, and it was like, "Oh, who lives in a pineapple under the sea?" And then they stopped it, and then they chanted, "Your disc, your disc."
Yeah.
So that's like, more like waste management kind of style.
Kind of, yeah. But
yeah,
like,
which I'm all for. I love that.
I think like, yeah, I mean, you have a Jedi on your green, which is a little weird. But I mean, like, I guess I don't see that as like that big of a step away from, you know, what those people are already doing, you know.
So,
and I think like you may like if that's what you want your tournament to be, maybe there's some tournaments that are more like that, and there's others that are run, you know, with a much, you know, like you have some that are waste management and you have some that are Augusta, you know.
Sure. I think the only pushback I would have with you there, Calvin, is, and I've heard this from several people now, is to me when I look at that, I can separate fans from like actual like officials or Disc Golf Pro Tour employees, and that's where it's like the flamingos and all that. I love it. Do whatever you want. The 8-holers at MVP, love it. Do whatever you want. I think that's great. When you have a Jedi on the green and is the only person on the green, and he really in that spot is like the official, you know, even though he's a volunteer, even though he's just a spotter, he has like kind of an official thing where people are looking at him to tell us, is the disc in bounds, is the disc not in bounds? To me, someone brought up like the mascot, and like, you know, certain sports have crazy mascots doing stuff. Yes, and I think that's great. But the crowd doesn't look at the mascot to see if it was a 3-pointer or is a 2-pointer. The crowd doesn't look at the mascot to see if the field goal went through the uprights, right? There is parts there. That's the only thing I have is like, he is kind of in an official spot. And do we want people in official spots like that to be kind of wacky and crazy, or do we want to keep that to the fans and spectators, which I love?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because he's just a volunteer, you know, so I see a big difference. I see what you're saying, comparing like referees and officials to spotters and volunteers, but until we have people who are paid out there to do it, I don't know. I was a fan of it. I thought it was cool. Yeah. I didn't know that there was actually a lot of like negative backlash to it.
Well, I mean, I personally too, I think it was funny. I thought it was hilarious when I saw it. But the idea is like, you do have to think about it. Like if Calvin would have aced, right? If Calvin would have aced that hole, and all of a sudden you have a Jedi pull out his green lightsaber and start winging it around like crazy, and that gets on ESPN. What is that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when people look at that, sports fans look at that, what is the mentality? And sure, you can have the idea of like, I don't care what anyone else thinks about my sport. That's fine. But again, that's where I think there is a divide. There are some people like, I don't care. I want to keep the sport the way it is. And then the people that are like, no, I want the sport to grow. I want it to go this direction. I guess my question to you is, does the lightsaber bring people into the sport? Are more people going to see that on SportsCenter and be like, holy cow, look at that lightsaber guy. That looks super cool. Or are more people going to be like, oh my gosh, disc golf is super lame. Look at that. Like what? Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like that's the questions that we need to be asking.
Yeah, I also think this is more like the exception, not the rule, because we don't see spotters doing this almost at all. You know, it took me a minute to figure out like why he was dressed up as a Jedi, right? Like I was like, what is happening? But
I didn't know it was May 4th until I saw him actually. So that was kind of cool.
Did you bow to him though?
No,
Give him a
I
little-
didn't. No.
Come on, bro.
I should have.
You must be a Sith then, bro.
Yeah, I should have. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I can't think of another tournament where like spotters are dressed up in, disguise or whatever, so costume. So if we start seeing it, yeah, maybe it might be a thing. But yeah, this is the first time I can think of a spotter actually on the course doing it.
Bobby Shiz actually makes a good point. He says, "Meh, until it gets on top 10 Sports Center, and Linda Cohen craps all over the sports. Screw ESPN." Which he makes a good point. If a non-crazy, non-weird ace gets crapped on, what happens when you have a guy dressed up as a Jedi in the background during an ace? Like that, you know what I'm saying? Like that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you got me when you framed it all up, and then at the end, and then you said, and then it's on Sports Center. That was a funny thought to have. Like, dude, just
you know he would too. Right? He would be going out doing finishing moves with a lightsaber, going
sick
nuts
with it though. If he's like dude,
Darth
got
Maul.
some moves with it. Yeah, like puts them together, starts spinning them like that. That could be sick.
Oh,
but the chick's kind of like struggling with them and drops it. It's like, yeah, this is such an amateur thing to do. What is happening?
Oh man. All right, you guys ready to move over to a little FPO action here?
Let's do it.
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
do it.
Let's throw up the first photo here. What are you guys' initial thoughts? In or out?
Oh man, it's coming through grainy on my end.
Okay. I've seen this picture on Facebook. Like, there are people posting it a
Oh,
lot.
you definitely have not seen this picture. There's a screenshot from yours truly. So you
No,
have
I've
seen
seen
maybe
this
nope. I just screenshotted this about 2 hours ago.
Definitely saw
It has
one similar
not-
to this.
Well,
Yeah.
it might be similar. It's not the exact one. This is a one of one.
I saw a comment that said that the group walked up and made the call pretty quickly. My first question was going to be, did they stand over for a while? Because if you can't walk up within a few seconds and be like, oh, dude, get out of here. Sorry. my dude Max is just yelling at me.
You say your dog?
No, it's my dude.
cat.
It's a cat.
Okay.
It's a
I was gonna
cat.
say your dog's got a
he-
weird bark.
Bro, he is my dog, though. He is my
Okay.
dog.
Yeah, he's your DAWG. Yeah. I gotcha.
Yes. Yeah. You know what's up.
Silas, throw up the other photo too. So maybe.
Yeah, I wish I had like a photo from above it.
Yeah. I heard that the group made it quickly,
So close.
but it looks really, really close. From the picture, it looks like it could possibly be in, but I heard the group made the call fairly quickly.
Yeah. And throw up the third photo real quick. All I know is if this caddy had any input, I'm punching them straight in the face. I don't know. Hopefully he wasn't saying anything. Caddy should not be involved with any discussion on rules. Right? Are we all in agreement on that at least?
1,000%.
Yep.
Okay.
Get out.
I do love Terry Miller though. He's in there hearing what's going on. I love that. Getting a little input, and he did say it was 100% out of bounds. Like, so I guess if you were like looking vertical on it,
Yep. I guess I'm just gonna say out then.
okay.
You know.
I think-
undetermined based on the picture, but if everyone's calling it out, it was probably out, right? Like
I'll
there
speak
isn't
up.
like this conspiracy against.
No, I don't think so. No, I think some people were saying that should have been benefit to the player, which those people don't understand what benefit to the player means.
Yeah,
that
for
simply
sure, man.
that means like if there's literally no conclusion, if you have two people saying in, two people saying out, then it's in. Benefit to the player is not like, ooh, it's close, we'll just give it to you. That's not how benefit to the player works. What do you guys think about OB? Like, what do you think is post string paint? Like, what do you guys think is the ideal way to distinguish OB lines? I know you hate the wall. I know you guys don't like walls. You don't like borders. So I know that's out.
I think the best lines when done properly are string, but I also feel like string can be a little iffy because people trip over the lines. All of a sudden you got this loose line and it's like, yeah, like one person, because it's loose, they're going to definitely want to call themselves in, but then like on the other side, it's like someone else is going to want to tighten that line to prove they're in or they're out or whatever. It's like, I don't know. I feel like ideally the best situation is you have your posts, you have a string line, and if there's any doubt on the string line, you can, pull that string line, tight to whatever side we determine that they're all running on. It can get pulled. It can get pulled there, or it's just posts and everyone has its. I mean, I've seen that at tournaments before. I think it was somewhere in Smuggler's Notch that they only had posts. They all gave us a string before the tournament.
Yes.
And if it was close, you pulled the string on the line.
Yes, I love
You had
that.
Two people on the card pull the string, and then you got the other person that just gets to say whether it's in or out, essentially.
Also, shots can be saved or screwed by posts, though. That's the one negative about them, whether you're trying to skip in or skip out.
Yeah. I think the best scenario, which is probably the most expensive scenario, you guys, I don't think you're going to mind this. It is a little bit of a barrier, but it's easy to cross.
Okay.
Hay bales. So you put hay bales up to where you make it to where if you're inside the hay bale, you're automatically in bounds. And if you're outside the hay bale, you're out of bounds. If you're on top of the hay bale, you're out of bounds. Like I think you get less scenarios. We don't really see it all that often, but the problem with the long grass spray paint is you get the disc that did just like this. It can move that grass, and now all of a sudden you're like, ooh, like am I in or am I out? Right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely, I understand the grass comment, but hay bales, I think I'm out on the hay bales. I think
we could do a mini wall. If you're on this side of the wall, you're in. You're on
I'm
the.
already picturing it like we just have all of our fairways just like lined
with hay bales.
Like,
I say in.
It's like,
I'm for
it's
it.
like,
Brings me back to my cross country days.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It becomes like, it looks like putt-putt or something. Putt-putt meets the Midwest or something like that.
Okay, so you're out on hay bales, but you're in on Jedis and lightsabers. Got it. Okay. Next one here. We got a little video here. I don't know if I've ever asked you guys this question. Silas, go ahead and play the video. We don't need audio here at all, but you can go ahead and play the video. Are you guys in or out on the giving knuckles on hole 18's tee before the tournament is actually finished?
I give hugs and butt pats, so I'm out on the daps. Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
No daps, but hugs and butt pats. Okay.
Yeah.
Aggressive.
Good games. Good games.
Yep. Okay. Calvin.
I mean, I think it's there because it's like just the way it's always been done. It's like tradition. But I will say it does sometimes feel pretty weird when like you're trying to focus up. Like you could be tied with someone going into the last hole, and you're not attacking the person you're trying to beat. Like you're like, I don't know. It does feel weird at times to be like super cordial with someone that you are actively still trying to take down. Because at that point in the tournament, if you're like going in the last hole, it's no longer you versus the course. It's you versus that person. Like you're essentially playing match play.
That's why you got to stare them down, dude, in the eyes.
So, I don't know. I
Did you and Ricky fist pump on 18? Because the tournament was already over. Then it was like would you have done it if you guys were tied?
Yeah, I still would have done it. I mean, it's like it's always done.
Are you ever initiator? Are you the initiator?
No way.
Like if you're sitting there and no one has done it and you're about to tee off, are you being like, oh, I can't tee off until I give everyone knuckles?
Yeah, I just sit there.
You wait for someone to come to you.
he just waits. It's like, you will give me knuckles, bro.
I was gonna say you're lucky you're good because you're always playing behind me because I'd be on your butt for slow play for having to do that. But interesting thing, like you say tradition, it is kind of a crazy thing to think about because it's like a bad tradition. The reason it started is because players would literally leave the moment they tapped out on 16 because they'd be or the moment they tapped out on 18.
I thought you were making a joke.
I got that locked in my head.
Bro, we're going to start it a couple holes early now. 16, we got to get the dabs in.
But yeah, players would just leave, right? They'd get super frustrated and leave, and they're like, wow, you didn't even like say it was nice playing with you. And I think that's initially that's what people have told me. That's where the tradition has started. Where now we literally can't do that. We have to stick around to do scores. So that's where it's like, I wonder if we can shift to it. But question to Zach when he comes back here, because I know he's
I'm back.
Okay. Obviously, I know you respect my mental headspace. What if I told you, hey, if you give me a hug on hole 18, it's going to put me in a really dark spot? Are you still trying to give me a hug on hole 18?
Probably depends on how you act during the round.
Okay.
If you're being a little baby, I'm going to come up and give you a hug for sure.
Okay. All right. Because that is always an interesting one, because I don't know if people think about it on the other side of like, well, what if that mess, because people always talk about this, like, oh, they're wearing headphones. Let them wear headphones and music. It helps them get into the mind state, whatever. But no one ever talks about like messing up someone's mind state by like telling them, hey, it was nice playing with you right before the most important shot of their tournament. Something to think about. All right, Haley came up short in the water on hole 18. I don't know if you guys saw that. Pretty standard shot there. Threw it in the water. I think this shows that we should never have par threes to end the tournament. If hole 18 was a par 3, I think we would all be talking about Haley King as the champion. The fact that Haley King had to execute 2 shots, that shows us exactly, like, it puts you to where you have like a pressure shot. I love that. I don't know if you guys feel the same, but I love the idea that she had to execute a hard tee shot, and then she had to execute a hard second shot. Wasn't able to do so, forced a playoff. But this just kind of showed me, like, I'm out on par 3s. The fact that there was a par 5 to finish this hole for us, this tournament, I thought was awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I like par 4s or 5s as a finishing hole. I think, actually, I don't know if it was with Zach or whoever, but like I kind of talked about this a little bit earlier this year when they switched up the finishing holes at Jonesboro, for example. Like I just felt like the finishing stretch there was better. Like 18's better. Like I don't know. There's just more chances for things to go wrong.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it is more exciting. You know, you have to throw a good tee shot. You have to still throw the approach. Yeah, I think 4s or 5s tend to, in my mind, they shape up better for building that moment, and just, you know, more things can happen.
Yeah. Zach, how are you feeling on that?
He's gone.
Okay, sweet. Next topic. Okay, so there was a foot fault called. I can't remember the last time a foot fault was called on coverage. I think it's been a very, very long time. But we did have a foot fault called in the playoff between Haley and Missy. This was actually on the final hole of the playoff. If you go and you watch the coverage, you see it in slow motion. Clearly the disc was out of Missy's hand. Her foot then rotates and touches the disc, which is not actually a foot fault. So it was not called. They actually had Christine Jennings, who I think might have been a marshal or someone of power, because it looked like when you have 2 people, it's kind of hard to, right? Like you can't really.
Yeah, there has to be the third person.
Yeah, so she was kind of quickly to be like, absolutely not. Seems like Haley Keen's getting a little attacked for making the call, which to me is a little crazy, because I think you have a lot of people always say like players should speak up and make calls, and here we have a player speaking up. Like if I'm Haley King and I'm in her where she's standing, I don't think she's thinking in her head like, oh, she clearly didn't foot fault, but I'm going to call it anyways to try to get away with it. I think she legitimately thought she foot faulted. Yeah. I think it's actually, she should be commended for like trying to make a call, because no one does. No one makes any calls.
Yeah, but the counter to that is as you already said, the call was wrong.
It was wrong, right. but my thing is like, I think maybe where she was standing, maybe it looked like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's,
I mean,
it was bang. It was super close.
Yeah. I'm not saying there was any like malicious intent, but like there's like so many things in our sport already that are so like bang as far as like step putts go, or just like in that instance, the way like, you know, like her foot didn't open up until after the disc was out, and that happens all the time when people throw. And it's like it's impossible. It's literally impossible when it's like that to actually call it in real time.
Yes.
Like, that's why you don't see it very often, because it's like it has to be so egregious to realistically call in real time. Missy would have had to like step on the disc, or just like be like a foot left of the disc, or like 2 feet back, or something. Like, it has to be so egregious to like realistically call it, because like you can't focus on the disc in the hand and then the feet at the same time and know exactly where like both of those things are. It's
Very hard.
It's not possible to realistically ask someone to do that when it's like that close. So like,
that's why I think she might have just been looking at her feet and saw the disc move and didn't really actually see when the disc came out of her hand. Is what I think maybe happened.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to discourage anyone from making a call, but like at the same time, it's like, I don't know, you make a call and it's wrong. Like, I don't think you should be commended for that.
No.
Like when we can go back and look at the video, like we have clear video, and like Missy's foot opens up after that disc is gone. And like, I mean, like, also just like the whole situation right there, like where it was, it just,
the timing's not great.
It turned out to be a really bad look. It turned out to be a bad look for her, for sure, just because like there was no change to the outcome. Her call was wrong, and I mean, she did get overruled by the official, but like, I don't know, the tournament was essentially over at that point. It's kind of like a scene was made out of what was realistically nothing, I don't know.
Yeah,
like
I wasn't saying. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just feel like in that moment, it looks kind of, the optics look bad. It looks like someone's salty, and they're making something more about them almost than just letting Missy have her moment. And I'm not saying that's at all what happened, but like when it goes down the way it just went down, and then you see the video replay and the call was wrong, it's just like, I don't know. It doesn't look good.
I was just saying, like, I wish players were more comfortable with making calls. Telling everyone on their card, hey guys, there's a full hole in front of us with no one playing. We need to start playing a little bit quicker. Like, just being comfortable with like expressing stuff to people. Because even there's people like with the OB line, like some people are like, I don't want to call them out, because like I don't want to, like I wish we just all understood, hey, we're out here, we're all playing, we're all trying to play fairly. Say it like you think it, and I'm not going to take it personally. I think too many people take stuff personally, maybe, and that's why people maybe are cautious of making any calls.
Definitely. It's the way people react.
Yes.
You are treated as the bad guy if you just call rules. I think back to the Beaver State fleeing coverage when I believe it was Jordan Castro on lead card called Kevin Jones on a foot fault on the philo hole. And if you like watch, I mean, it looks like Kev steps on his disc and Jordan delivers it. He just says foot fault. And then everybody, Kev starts looking around. Everybody's like, what? And he goes, I saw him step on his disc. And then you can just see, like, they're looking at Kevin. You can see his face. He's just like, what is this dude's deal?
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to pick on Kevin. I'm just saying, like, everyone's like this. He's like, what is up? No one seconds it. And Jordan's just like, that's fine. I saw him step on it, but whatever. And then like, you can just tell Kev's like playing with like a chip on his shoulder after that. Like, what the heck, bro? And it's just like, I mean, if someone comes at you aggressively, like, sure. But I mean, he literally just said foot fault, and that's it.
Yeah, no. Hopefully it gets that way where everyone just is like, hey, don't take it seriously, or don't take it personally. We're just all trying to, play by the rules. Anything to take from Jomez editing it out? I was surprised by that. When I saw this happen, I went straight to Jomez to try to watch it, right? Instead of, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but trying to navigate the Disc Golf Pro Tour, the Disc Golf Network app is the fact that there's like coverage is on and I can't just click the thing and like click a button and watch it. Like I have to click multiple. It's crazy to me. But yeah, I went straight to Jomez to watch it and it wasn't there. And a lot of the top comments was like, I'm watching this to see what happened. Anything to take away from that?
Yeah, no, I guess that's interesting. I don't know. I'm surprised they edited it out, because normally, they don't with things like that. But I guess maybe just to them that wasn't the story they were trying to tell, because in the end, it is post-produced content, you can go find the whole live interaction on DGN, and you know, they're ultimately post-production there, I think maybe just said, hey, we're just trying to make this, you know, Missy's victory lap, and this wasn't that important, nothing came of it. No need to put it in there.
Yeah,
I don't know. It is a little weird, but I'm guessing it has something to do with that. It just wasn't the. I feel like if you're trying to tell a story of a champion, having it end like that, like that's why when I was talking about how it just looks so bad for Haley, because like it just like it kind of takes away from Missy having her moment. And so
you're saying if it actually resulted in having an impact, then putting it in, but the fact that it didn't matter whether she stepped on it or not, really, at the end of the day,
it didn't matter. It got overruled, and if you put it in there, it just like breaks up Missy having, you know, it's with much smoother transition to crowning Missy a champion in post production. You tell a much cleaner story if Missy throws that shot, and then you whatever 2 cuts later you see her tapping in, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Gary Downs for that 199. Appreciate you, brother. All right, some EDWIN stats for you, Calvin. Here we go. Champions Landing played much harder this year versus 2023. It ranked as the 8th hardest scoring course since the beginning of 2023. The purse was down 11% since last year. That's not something that we like to see. The first event this year that the purse wasn't larger. This was your first win in 371 days since Jonesboro last year. This was Calvin's 10th elite/major win, making him the 8th MPO player of all time, with AB finishing outside the top 10 and Gannon finishing second. Gannon is now the only player to place in the top 10 every event this year. Gavin Babcock had his second top 10 finish in the last 4 events after having only 2 top 10 finishes in his 52 career events before that. He's playing really well right now. And Mason Marchbank had his second top 10 of his career in 24 events. Both were at DDO. Wow, interesting. So he plays really, really well this tournament. Do we have player stats? Did we get that, Silas, to throw up to see how Calvin feels about his player stats? All right, Calvin. Hopefully Zach comes back, because I wouldn't mind Zach taking a peek at this and getting his input on what your player stats are. I'll read them out for the people listening as well. So this is kind of Madden stats. Edwin basically takes the stats of the top players on tour, and based off where you rank in your stats, that's where you get a number. The highest that you can get is 99. The lowest you can get, I believe, is 75. Or is it 70 or 75, Silas? Okay. So scoring, 99. Highest.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 70. Power, 97.
It's pretty good.
Accuracy, 99. Scramble, 96. Putting, 92. And overall, 98. What do you think about those stats? Anything too high? Anything too low? Did he nail it on the head? Perfect.
Well, you know, I guess I don't necessarily think I look at myself as that good.
Okay.
I would say I think the scramble is probably too high.
Okay.
So scramble's too high. Putting might be a little too high. I don't know. I feel like
tough to say when you didn't miss a putt this last final round, but continue on.
Yeah, I know, but you know, this is like culmination of more than just one tiny snapshot.
But this is live. This is like you're playing in a season, and as your player gets better, his stats improve or to go down.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, then if it's based on this year, putting maybe close to right. You know, I think my putting's been pretty good, minus a couple. Couple events.
You're 13 in C1X and 13 in C2. That was what your putting was last year, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe putting's, I don't know. I guess scramble's a weird one to think about. I don't feel like I'm that good at scrambling. I feel like, you know, I get myself out of trouble. But scramble's a weird one too, because like
if you don't throw a B, your scramble's gonna be really high.
Yeah, and then also like if you're good at putting, like your scramble
is really high
also
too.
kind of gets inflated. You can throw like not as great of a scramble shot if you're a good putter. Like I don't know. That's a weird one. But you know, I'll take it. You know, I definitely feel like I don't know. I think
it's definitely the highest
maybe
rating
even
we've
power.
seen.
I think maybe power could even be a tick lower. You know, I think I'm more than 2 ticks away from like a Anthony Barella. You know,
Okay.
like
Okay.
like you look at those guys and there's a different level.
Yeah,
But
I believe he was our only 99 power that we've had so far. But Edwin Stats did say he crowdsourced the power from the chat before the show went live, so everyone was between 96 and 97.
I'll take
right.
it. You know.
Yeah, it's okay. Great Madden rankings. Great Madden rankings. All right, little Manufacturers Cup update after DDO here. With Calvin finishing first, that moves Innova into third with 99 points. Discraft scored the third most points this week, the first time since week 3, not leading in points. Innova led weekly scoring solely on Calvin's win. Gannon's second place finish makes him the only player in the to finish top 10 in all 7 events. And Joey Bucket's fourth place finish propelled Castaplast up from 10th to 8th place, passing Mint in DGA. The Discraft still has the dominant lead at 257, Dismania at 207, and Innova in third at 99. There we go. All right. I kind of wanted to read this wild story of the week when Zach was here. So maybe we'll do some listener questions. Okay. And then when he gets here, we'll do the wild story of the week, and then we'll wrap up the show. So some listener questions here. Let me pull them up. Let's see here. Okay. First one's from Adam Hornstock. How do you take your eggs?
Over easy.
Ooh. Are you like a toast guy too? You like having them on toast?
Yeah. I like them with toast for sure.
Nice.
Get over easy egg, or like you can mix that with some hash browns and stuff too. I like doing that as well.
You hard boiled guy?
I don't hate hard boiled eggs, but I don't think I would never, you know, order a hard boiled. Honestly,
you're out on hard boiled eggs?
I don't think they taste bad, but I just think I like my over easy egg too much. I guess like the only time that I would be like, oh, I'm gonna put a hard boiled egg on something, it would be like if I'm doing like a big old chopped salad or whatever, and then I hard boil the egg. But I think that's the only time.
I just like the ease of it. If you can boil up 12, 2 dozens of them, and then just throw them in your refrigerator, and then it's a nice little quick pop in, get it, and go. A little protein action. All right, King Prophet would like to have Calvin do a quick putting setup or tutorial on how he putts, because his putting is my favorite. Just a quick 5-minute video. Oh, and that jersey he was wearing, how do I get one?
Well, my jerseys can all be found at flightfactory.com. Their website should have everything. They might also be on Wander's website. I'm not sure. They might be on both of those sites, but definitely Flight Factory. And then as far as putting video goes, I guess there really isn't one. I think Innova ran like a little ad with like a little putting tip I had, but that didn't go
like 30
really
seconds. Yeah,
it didn't really ever go through everything. But I really do feel like the majority of it is that little wrist action at the end. But maybe that's something I can get done here sometime in the future. Try to break it down. But I do really feel like putting is like a pretty tricky thing to completely mimic on another person. Everybody's hands are a little different, and everyone's bodies move a little bit different. I think you also, realistically, if you want to become the best putter you can be, you need to find the motion that is most replicatable for you, not necessarily what is most replicatable for me. But
it's all about finding your swing.
Yeah, you can find your swing, but I do think that probably is something that maybe I could do at some point. Who knows? Maybe maybe there'll be a free camera here at Las Vegas this week with EDWIN. Maybe we'll get that done.
Nice. Some insight on the grounds here. Lane was actually at the event. They said the one thing about Haley King's foot fault call was the fact that afterwards she pulled out her phone and watched the replay, still arguing. Then told fans that she would be at the signing booth and never showed up. Seemed low class and petty to me. So take that for what you want. Next one is from. Let's go with this one. Bowman H. Does Calvin consider Ricky an old rival or an inspiration in any way? Calvin seems to fit between generations, and I've wondered if he always wanted to beat guys like Ricky in his fashion.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I definitely, watched Ricky and, Paul's, and like Will Shoestricks and stuff growing up and as I was getting better at the sport. I mean, it's weird because like disc golf was never really like my life plan. So like I guess I never like dreamed about like beating Ricky. Like it's never really somewhere where I like really envisioned myself being. It just kind of happened. I'm really happy it happened, but I definitely don't view him as like a rival or anything. I do, and I do think it's sweet that I did get to beat him, in the way I did, but I definitely wouldn't call us rivals. I think, Ricky has like a pretty clear rival in his career, and that's Paul Macbeth. I don't fit anywhere in that picture.
Do you wish you had a rival?
Yeah, that'd be sweet, If I could have someone I could always just be mad at. That'd be great. So, yeah, I'll take applications for my rival.
All right, DM Calvin on Instagram if you want to be his rival. Zach, welcome back. Your phone died, so glad to have you back. Just in time for a question from Roger. Roger says, if Zach had been the course analyst this past week, would he have known that was a muskrat in the pond and not an otter? Love Earhart, but he bumbled that one.
I would.
You know the difference?
I just know that there was one in that pond.
What's the difference between a muskrat and an otter?
A muskrat is at Champions Landing and otters are not.
Okay, very well.
Yeah, nailed that one.
Yeah.
See, I saw that question on like X or yesterday.
Yeah,
I could have Googled that, but I didn't. I wanted to just act like I didn't know. I could have played the sucker route and like searched that, but I didn't.
K Nada says, is Drew Gibson the new Brodie Smith? Do you guys know what that question means?
I don't. Is he taller now?
I might have thought about this question way too long because I was trying to. Anyone in the chat wants to explain what this question means, because I don't know what this means. I don't know if this is a compliment or this is like someone trashing me. I'm not sure. It could go either.
If we're not sure, let's just assume it's a compliment, right?
Okay. Well, all right. Thank you. Appreciate that. Courtesy violation for Zach. Can the Denver Nuggets come back from a 2-0 deficit?
So I actually thought, even though I hoped the Wolves could win this, I thought the Nuggets would, but Wolves are up 2-0 now. I'm like fully on Team Wolves, dude. And if you have watched the T-Wolves play and you're not an Anthony Edwards fan,
he's so sick.
He's amazing, and he has fun, and he's talking. Did you see that clip where he like hit that shot on KD and was just chirping at him and smiling and laughing the whole way down the court? And then they asked him about it after the game. He's like, "Dude, I love KD. Of course, I got to let him know I just made a shot." I'm like, that dude's just fun.
Yeah.
So hopefully
Ant-Man.
T-Wolves in like 5, man. Ant-Man.
Yeah. Matthew Jackson wants to know, Calvin, are you aware of Isaac Robinson's dig about you being a closer? Does anyone know where this was? I tried to look it up. Was this in a press conference or something that he said something?
I haven't heard this.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sure.
Maybe someone in chat. Someone's saying it might be because he gives out. Drew Gibson gives out hot takes after every event. Oh, okay.
So Drew's not you.
If anyone knows what Matthew Jackson's talking about with Isaac, please let us know. Dark and Stormy, who's winning the amazing race? Okay, out of these three, you've got you two together as a team, me and Ezra together as a team, or Yuli and Big Germ together as a team. I know who's coming in last.
Dude, I know this is actually pretty fair because there's a person on every team with knee problems. And I think that's
Oh my gosh, dude.
Wow.
I think that's really fair because, you know, like if it wasn't that way, like I would have to really like question whether or not, you know, I could drag Zach to the finish line. If I really had to pick, you know, I'd probably say you just because you have experience, right?
Got experience, yep.
Brody?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably, you know, I'd love to believe in myself.
In these teams, though, Ledgestone a couple years ago, we took you and Ezra down, bro. I know this was disc golf and not the Amazing Race, but I'm just saying we've got a dub against y'all.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Amazing Race is a whole new ball. I think we can all agree, though, the team that's coming in last is Yuli and Big Germ.
I concur.
Like I don't even think they figure out how to even get to the mat.
Do they even leave the first? Like, do they just argue right at the start?
Exactly. I think we should take a taxi. No, we should get on the bus. Jeremy, welcome to Tour Life Crew, brother. Thanks for joining in. All right. Wild story of the week here. This is coming from Trevor Kimpton. Oh, it's from the Drew Gibson practice round with Isaac. So he might have mentioned something in there. All right, this is me and my caddy / girlfriend went out of state to play a B tier. We got an Airbnb so I could go up a day early and play a practice round. The course was awesome. I shot what could be a winning round. We went to a 115-year-old pub after and had some amazing Guinness. The next morning, the weather is perfect, and I'm stoked to put up a good round. This was my first MA2 tournament, so I felt like I needed to prove myself as I move up divisions. Started out the round by sinking a circle 2 putt. Was tied for the lead for most of the first round. I'm walking to our next tee pad and hear 4. I instantly turn my head because there's no shot I should be in line of fire. Not even half a second after I turn, there is a disc 4 feet from my face. I move my head just enough for it to bounce off my eyebrow and continue 100 feet into the lake behind me. I'm glad he lost his disc in the lake. Okay.
Me too. Me too.
I don't react and my card thinks I wasn't hit, but after asking if I'm bleeding, it was clear. I wanted to man up and just play through it. A disc hitting my face 50 miles per hour isn't going to stop me, I thought. I proceeded to throw OB 3 times and lose 2 discs on the next hole. Before finishing the hole, I decided to withdraw. I was clearly concussed. While I'm walking away with my girlfriend, we hear again. Boom. This time, the same guy hit someone else on my card.
What?
Preventing him from going OB. I'm not really sure what could be done, but that guy sucks. At least the Guinness was good.
I don't know what could be done, but he sucks. Wow.
Oh,
Same dude,
man.
huh? That's crazy.
Man. Ron Jones goes out of state for MA2. Hopefully he's someone like Calvin and doesn't care about borders and was right close to the borders and was able to go to another state.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man. Oh gosh. Okay.
At least he yelled 4, bro.
Yeah. I mean, he was letting you know it was coming in hot. That was hilarious. Where it's like, and I'm glad it went into the lake.
Yeah, I had to put that little just right after. I'm glad it went in the lake.
Oh man. All right. Shout out to Christian R. Christian R. If you guys aren't aware, before every Tour Life, Edwin is in the chat who does our statistics for the early trivia giveaway. This week, Christian R. took it down. Actually became a Tour Life crew member a minute before they answered the right question or the right answer, and got the giveaway disc this week. So shout out to that. Make sure you guys jump in 10 minutes or so before 8 p.m. Eastern to be able to try to answer Edwin's stats question.
What was the question? What was the question?
Oh, yeah. What was the question, Edwin? We'll see. We'll have him throw it up here in a second. Did Yuli hit 2 people during a practice round? Did that happen? I mean, I wouldn't put it past him.
I would have guessed Germ, not Yuli.
Hitting someone is the worst. The Kelsey's first tournament, she hit a bystander walking down the sidewalk. That was awkward. It's never fun. Oh, what was Calvin's last win and who finished second? Ooh, Calvin, do you know who finished second? We already told you what your last win was, but do you know who finished?
I think it was Ben Calloway.
I think you're right, because I think Ben Calloway got second at Jonesboro back-to-back years now.
Yeah, I think it might have been.
Oh, it's a 3-way tie.
Yeah,
it's a 3-way tie. You got to get 2 more.
Dang, who else? I just know they all lucked out because Eagle took that huge number on the last hole.
They all got lucky.
Who else was?
So Calvin, Eagle, and then there's one more.
Maybe. Well, Eagle did. Oh, did the Eagle tie for second?
It's Calvin, Eagle, and
So
maybe
Eagle, Ben, and
maybe your new rival. Maybe
Chris Dickerson?
Maybe your new rival after tonight's podcast.
Joel?
Nope.
Who?
Isaac.
Oh, Isaac?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So rivalry brewing up.
Wow, dude.
Rivalry brewing
Dude,
up.
should I, next time I play with them, not fist bump them before they're on?
Oh, definitely don't fist bump them. Do the pullback or no, snail them.
Oh, just
snail. Yeah, snail them. Yeah, snail them. Yeah.
Or just like give him knuckle, like punch his hand really hard and like give him like the crazy eyes, like good luck.
Oh god, yeah.
Have you guys ever punched something after a bad shot with your right hand?
Immediately regret. So much regret. As soon as
Would you punch?
I've punched a tree before. That was a bad move.
Jeez, Calvin.
I mean, I didn't hit it hard. I'm a softie, bro. I like tapped it and I immediately was like, oh my hand.
Nothing's coming to mind like right after a shot. You know, I've definitely punched some things after a round. But
have you ever folded your mini in half?
No, mine's leather. I don't think I actually am strong enough to do that.
What about you, Calvin?
I fold my mini in half every tournament. Like
He'd be marking putts out there with a little teepee.
I thought Ezra was going to chop down a tree after USDGC one year. He punched this tree so many times. I was like, this tree's about to fall over. Oh man. The punch in the tree, we need something, right? All these other sports have something. Football, you rip your helmet off and slam it down. Tennis, you have a racket. Golf, you have a club. Like, we don't have anything. There's nothing.
Just fold your disc in half.
Yeah, I guess.
I've seen that.
I've seen Germ do that.
I've seen people rip putters out of the bottom of a basket.
I have too. It's
crazy, what? Like
bro.
Pull it through the bottom?
Through the bottom?
Barry Schultz, bro.
What?
Barry Schultz would putt with these hard, old school AVRs, just like they're bricks, right? And he'd be so upset. He'd go up, he'd grab the cage, and then get his disc and go boom, and just pull it out the bottom. I'm like, what just happened? That doesn't do that. It doesn't work that way. Yeah.
Does that YouTube channel still exist that like posts all those compilation videos? What was that, like Bone Outlaw or something?
They would always take like clips from everybody and just make their own video.
Like best eagles or best putts or whatever. I would love to see like a best tantrum. Small bore outlaw. That's it right there.
Yeah.
Best tantrums. Like people just. What are your guys' thoughts on people dropping on the ground? Are you in or out on? Are you in or out on like the toddler tantrum after a missed putt? For
the comic relief, I'm all for it.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, oh my God, get your phone out, get this guy.
It brings me back to like third grade. Like someone like missing a fly ball in the outfield
and kickball, right? And
and they just go on their back and they just are kicking their legs and their arms up in the air. Yeah, I don't know. That's I don't know if there's really a good way to express your anger after doing something dumb in disc golf.
That video of James, just raging and kicking that stump. I mean, that's got to go in that top 10 for sure, right? And he like taps it with his toe like at like 1 mile an hour, just shakes his head.
My caddy saw Philo take out like a 9-iron after his round and just dethrone the ground, the earth from underneath it. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good one. Maybe that's what we need to do. We need it all in our vans and cars. We need to all have that like karate guy, the quarter body,
Yeah.
and just pull it out and just start going the freaking jab.
The guy that's always like at sporting goods stores, just like hanging out over there, and you got to go over there and just hit him a couple times.
Yes,
right?
I'll pull out my pocket knife and just start shaking him. Oh man. All right, let's it's late. Silas, give us the Tour Life Crew merch update here. What's our merch at?
All right, so the merch update, we got Tour Life at 427. Grip lock.
Ooh.
Hey, I'll give you grip lock too. Grip lock's at 331. They're never catching us.
Okay, we're almost to 500 here. Almost to 500. Do you guys want? Hey, Zach, Calvin, if you guys want any Tour Life merch, go to foundationdisc.com, look up Tour Life. If you want anything on the house, you let me know. I'll send it to you guys.
Sweet, man. Thanks, dog.
On the house, of course. Corey, Calvin, I'm CHE and 13 years in industry. Just want to say you picked the better career.
That's still to be seen.
I haven't turned back yet, so
yeah.
That's still to be determined.
So shout out to our new Tour Life crew members tonight. Appreciate each and every one of you. Appreciate everyone listening live. If you're listening not live, thanks for watching or listening on Apple or Spotify. Boys, anything to promote? Anything that's going on? Where are we at on the Calvin shirt? I saw a lot of comments on that Instagram post, Calvin. A lot of people said they wanted that Calvin shirt.
Which Calvin shirt?
The Calvin face shirt that you were wearing, Zach.
It's I mean, I think it's a 1 of 1. I don't know. I mean,
I know, but Calvin said on the last time he was on here that if people wanted it, that he would try to make it happen.
Okay, so
Was that enough people, Calvin? Was there enough comments?
I didn't go count the comments. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't do any follow up at all.
He forgot he said that actually.
Yeah, it sounds like there's one more thing to add to the to-do list. So maybe we'll get to it in like July or something.
Zach, you taking a cut if he makes it?
Makes what?
The Calvin shirt.
Well, it's not my face on it. Oh, are you going to make a shirt with my face on it, Calvin, and then you wear it?
Well, no, you should get a cut though, because you were the one that was modeling it. Like that's like a finder's fee.
So you think people like it because I was wearing it?
I didn't say that. I just don't. I think people wouldn't even know that it existed without you. So you
That's
were
true.
like, you were
true.
the first one. That's there's something to be said about that.
That's true. That's true. I did kind of just do it without telling him and just showed up to DDO last year, to caddy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it threw him off a little bit, but I doubled down though. I wore it this year. You just couldn't see it because it was under the long sleeve, but I went back-to-back years with it on Sunday. It worked.
Nice.
It worked. Yeah.
Melts. Is that people call you Melts? Is that like I've never heard that.
No, that's not a thing.
So someone's calling you Melts. I don't know. JMZ's calling you Melts. Maybe I missed it earlier, but I love your personality and perspective as the on-the-course guy on DGN coverage. Would love to see you as the color commentator.
Nice. Appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. So any products or anything that actually exist? Do you guys got anything for the people?
Maverick.
Calvin, you just hit 100,000 Instagram followers.
Dang, dude.
Let's go. Triple digits. Very nice.
Next up,
Yeah,
Twitter.
you can always, yeah, I gotta work on that. But you're a rat. Anyways, you can always find my stuff at Flight Factory, Innova's factory store, Millennium, or Disc Unlimited. So, but yeah, or you can support me through Squatch. I got my signature bag there.
You have a bag?
I do.
You want to
Dang,
sponsor me?
Well, I don't own the company. Or do you just want a company?
Wait, you don't own Squatch? That's not you?
We'll take it offline. We'll figure out a deal offline. Zach, you got anything for the people?
Dude, yeah, thanks for having us on. Tour Series Mavericks on dynamicdisc.com. If you like them, go snag one. Appreciate the support. Loved seeing everybody in Emporia, dude. I feel like the crowd was pretty fun on Friday. I felt like for a Friday there was a decent amount of people, and then unfortunately we had some crappy weather and just numbers went down, but still good times out there. Always enjoy it.
Yeah, I think hole 16, like you said, not as many people this year as we've seen in the past. I think some of that maybe has to do with, like you said, the weather. I think a lot of AMs were like, I'm not going to go in and play the tournament, which drives a lot of people to Emporia. But I like what's happening at hole 16. I love the vibe. I love the environment there. I think they do a great job to make the players get excited to play. We all want to play in front of people, right? It's not really fun playing in front of no one. Way more fun playing in front of a crowd.
Agreed.
So, we appreciate everyone that came out, everyone that's watching. And yeah, thanks for jumping on here. Appreciate it. It was fun times. We'll definitely have to do it again. And we didn't go too long, only 2.5 hours. That's I feel like that's pretty good for us.
My phone only died twice, so it's not bad.
Yeah.
my computer's at 1% right now, so
Oh, perfect timing. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Good luck, Calvin. You're playing Las Vegas Challenge. Melton, you coming West Coast?
Dude, May. Okay, this is breaking news.
Oh, breaking news.
Pretty sure I'm going to be doing Joe Men's commentary with Yuli at OTB.
Ooh.
I'll be in Cali, not playing, just chilling, doing a little commentary. So
maybe surfing some waves.
Yeah, bro.
Okay, very nice. Yeah, so check that out. Melton on the commentary with Yuli. What's that name? I know they like doing names. You guys shopped around a name for your duo?
Is that Melty Berry? I don't know.
Oh, all right. Maybe workshop that a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. That was a fun one tonight. And tear down the wall. We'll see you in the next one.
So, yeah.